northeast corner of the world lies the kingdom of Tera'tun. It is a varied land full of lords and ladies, where your word and your vow are given out with greater care than gold and silver. There are a total of 16 different lands, each with a main hold and with several bannermen who are loyal to them. While some of the lands are larger or richer than others, each carries a great history and prestige with it. Dark and difficult to traverse, the dark swamps are a wild and murky land. Here, beings such as the furbolgs and turtles do well and thrive in the natural swampy land. The majority of beings in these swamps have to build, work hard, and adapt fast in order to survive. However, given the circumstance that led to the acquiring of the dark swamps, most who live here hold it in very high esteem. Any who can make it in these lands for a full year are considered to be made of sterner stuff, and respected by those who know physical battle. Lord Wilhelm was gifted the swamps by the Lord of the Riverwood family at the time, when he helped root out and destroy the last of the traitor Alistair family, who held the swamps at that time. He has been determined to make something of them ever since, and to end up in his good graces is considered exceedingly difficult. Dragon Tongue is a harsh land with extremely sharp, rocky ground that's difficult to traverse for anyone who is not an extremely seasoned traveler or familiar with the terrain. To make matters worse, the land has several fissures that spread across the ground that are suspected to be part of a large lake of lava just beneath the surface. Regardless, it is always extremely hot here and can exhaust those unused to such conditions. As such, those who live here are hard and battle-ready by and large. Most everyone born here is either a hunter or a gatherer, as food and fresh water are difficult to come by. That considered, those who are able to cast magic are held in high reverence here. The lands are currently led by a red dragonborn warrior who goes by Spark. He is extremely suspicious of outsiders, and it can be difficult to gain his favor if he feels slighted. However, if his culture is respected, and he feels he is being treated with the same respect as any other lord, he can be kind enough to visit her. Galat is often considered to be the sole honest kingdom left in Tera'tun. It is run by the Light family, and the only place where no vengeance or war is allowed to be waged. The Light family spends much of their time attempting to make things equal, whether it hurts their own forces or not, believing in equality and justice above all else. The land itself is very fair, with a lake in the middle that is always perfect for swimming or sailing. Upon the island in the middle is Dracomores, a large hall with a grand table, capable of seating over 40 individuals that are all able to be heard in equal measure by a process of a spell within its walls. The Light family tends to look down on forms of bootlicking. Gifts and compliments might bring disdain if you are not already a friend of the family. However, good deeds and an honest reputation can put one in good graces before having even met them. Lord Kanan is an adventurous lad, recently turned 14, and desperate to prove that despite his young age, he is a capable leader and warrior. He is often kind to royals who treat him as an equal. However, if he feels mocked or made less of, he can grow to be hot-headed. The Kragnag Range is a series of cities within the shadow of a vast mountain range, boasting several expensive gems and ore. Many hope to retire within its territory because of the low-cost economy and breathtaking landscapes. However, within the past few decades, there has become a growing unrest between the majority of the workers and the ruler of the Kragnag Range. While there are a number of dangerous creatures within the confines of the land, there is a skilled god presence who are capable warriors. It is home to many of the dwarves within the land of Tera'tun, but is in fact not run by a dwarf. It is run by Ares Evier. Ares is now an old man, grown fat and lazy on his throne, and is a master manipulator. Still, he is increasingly distracted with his distant cousin's romantic inclines towards William Hart, a scrappy soldier in his army who has a habit of ignoring orders he finds stupid. Evier often enjoys receiving expensive gifts, but is extremely hard to actually gain his trust. The Lost Islands are a series of islands in the northwest corner of the world, often cold and windy. It is most well known as being the burial site for most of those in Tera'tun, consisting of hundreds of thousands of tombs and crypts. It is largely enchanted to ensure that necromantic practices and experiments are not performed on those who rest here. There are a few housesteads, such as the Kaporis Hall to the north. However, in general, it is a very quiet place, built for people to safely mourn and visit those who have moved on. Some say that the island is cursed or blessed, but most just consider it a place of rest. The Colwell family is very old and currently ruled by Lady Evelyn, who is very interested in unique weaponry and watches over her islands, much like a hawk, keeping an eye out for those who might seek to perform evil deeds. She is well known for her unique whip-like blade. Home to the more skilled farmers and horse lords of Tera'tun, Lothel is a land full of long, tall fields and gently sweeping hills. It is a home to many who prefer to work hard as opposed to having a cushy lifestyle. The people here are generally honest and caring, and they have little patience for politics or legal issues, preferring to let common decency and the law of equality run things over a controlling government. There is some concern among the locals over the Coral Hunt, which is a long, winding cavern full of strange monsters and beings. However, many of the young men consider it a rite of passage to track down one of these monsters through the hills and kill it when they reach adolescence. Lothel is currently run by Christina Woodway, who is made particularly famous for helping drive back the monsters that inhabited Tugenia. She is said to be a wonderful horse rider and capable fighter. As such, she and her horsemen are considered exceptionally dangerous anywhere where horses can maneuver easily. It is said there is no mount alive that can match a Lothelian steed. Covered in strange, dark clouds that persist even on a sunny summer afternoon, Nyanetta is considered to be a safe haven for any who have goals and ideals they'd rather were not made known in public. However, that being said, the Talma family usually has little patience for anything that would cause large-scale pain or damage to the common man. As such, there is a mutual respect amongst any who do business within the country. Any attempt at robbery or poor dealing can be made punishable by death. Many who spend their lives in the shadows or look to get lost choose Nyanetta. However, if another kingdom is chasing you down for past crimes, they may refuse to accept you. Currently, they are ruled by Lord Neldor, and while he certainly has strong principles, it can be hard to tell exactly what he does or does not find acceptable, and seemingly random things can set him off even to the point of occasionally attacking someone. Obsidian, the small island kingdom, sits in the shadow of the nearby earthen plain, and is full of people who prefer an adventurer's life, and those who would dare to take the paths less traveled for promises of adventure or treasure. The people there do have to work hard, with everyone being expected to pull his or her own weight to help keep everything running. But whatever fever may grip them, or whatever quest they may wish to take, they are encouraged to do so. It is also said to be a very wealthy land, with many spending time among the Path of Fire, daring to walk the burning coals to prove themselves, though no one ever seemingly returns from this venture. As such, visitors can sometimes be put off by the seemingly odd life of the islanders. They are somewhat slow to trust, but are willing to share what they have with the often exhausted and sea-tired adventurers that reach their land. Obsidian is currently ruled by Lord Roderick, and he is in favor of working with the other kingdoms, especially the Lost. This has given them a set of powerful ships, said to be some of the strongest in the world, often bearing crews of 200 or so men and women. Rage of the Gods is said to primarily consist of a large island in the middle of a lake of lava. Many of the older generation give respect to the legendary Dragon of the Magma River, said to spread throughout the entire kingdom. However, many nowadays do not believe in these rumors centered around this supposed dragon. The dwarves who have been running the land for over 400 years swear by its divine powers, and there may be something to it as they breed unrivaled warriors. Strength and power rule strong here, and a man who is capable in battle is often more respected than somebody who has a full coin purse. Of course, you can recognize talent and hold your drink, it certainly won't hurt. The Rage of the Gods is currently helmed by Lord Barshon, who spends most of his days in Archdale as opposed to Maryport, preferring to pray most of his days and problems to the Dragon of the Magma River. Founded by the oft-thought insane goblin Garrot, Sapphire Shores is flowing with liquid magic and set on a beautiful chains of islands and beaches. Sapphire Shores is home to many new and untested forms of magic, not readily available to those who study in the rest of the world. Therefore, the Lord made two Warforged and transfigured his own son Wix into a Verdin, a fate shared by a few of the goblins who lived in the City of Glass. As such, many don't really know what to think of Sapphire Shores, and it has become something of a haven for both freaks and those who appreciate the beautiful and the odd. Many think of themselves as more advanced or accepting than the other lands, and many beings such as tieflings or goblins find an odd acceptance from the locals, provided they don't break its laws. Still, even in the course of the law, it is a very forgiving and understanding land. Lord Wix, who is extremely physically changeable, is a mix of a fun jest and a symbol of acceptance for his people. Wix spends much of his time out and about among the locals, often focusing his time with the younger children or adventurous creators on the land. There is no guard presence here, rather the locals form watches all their own and protect one another. If you are there, you are considered family. The Shadowed Forest is a kingdom consisting of huge, sprawling woods for which it was named, and saved by a set of Tabaxi brothers. It is now a considerably hostile and dangerous place after the wild Trent betrayed and killed Lord Ice 12 years ago. While those outside the forest are able to live a normal life during the daylight hours, They must spend their nights vigilantly on watch and wary of evil creatures that may set upon the towns. Those within the forest itself have it even harder, often having to rely on liberal uses of the alarm spell, not to be surprised in the middle of the night. However, those that live here see their efforts as noble, protecting the rest of the world from the darkness of the night. Lord Snow holds his father's murder against the forest itself, and the hostile attitude he holds against it has hurt the local trade. However, the Lord is not alone in his anger, as much of the locals mourn the loss of the Tabaxi Lord they had over a decade ago. The Shattered Ice is a frozen tundra. Once rumored to have properly belonged to the frozen wasteland of the water plane, it is now a collection of villages and stone towers that were built to withstand the frigid temperatures. Those who live here are either more comfortable in the cold and recluse, or hope to utilize the cold in some way. While many creatures do poorly in such frigid temperatures, there are those creatures who revel in the lower temperatures, and they provide a very real danger to any who get lost in the wilderness. It is ruled by a strong family of orcs who believe in either the trial of blood or banishment as a punishment. It seems harsh, but it means that grudges and slights are forgotten fairly quickly. Despite the harsh punishments present, Lord Mackinac is an uncommonly caring orc, often seeing to the care of smaller villages or families before taking care of himself. He's also an extremely skilled warrior, rumored to fight polar bears unarmed and unarmored. A strange land, once holding a great fortress, and now a collection of broken and jagged pillars standing out against the surrounding area. The Shattered Isles are often suspect for those who travel here, and it is neither a pleasant land nor a wealthy one. It is dark and hard, favored by those who can go nowhere else. Its greatest achievement is not actually due to the lords at all, rather the family of dwarfs to the north of the kingdoms who forge ships and cargo to be traded for the island's income. Much mystery surrounds the ruling family of the Kenku, due in no small part to their peculiar method of speech. Silent and often thought of as cold, Lord Catskall is caring to his subject, but extremely difficult to talk to without being examined and made uncomfortable. As such, many people prefer never having to meet the bird-like being. A huge and sprawling metropolis, and easily the envy of many places around the world, the Tower is a bustling and busy place, where any number of beings and races and skill sets are found. As such, it is a haven for those who function well in crowds, or like to disappear in a group. No one is considered out of place in the tower because everything is so unusual already. Beings performing odd actions or talking to nothing are relatively commonplace. Bands and minstrels exist everywhere, and even shady shopkeepers and street musicians are commonly found. The Riverwood family, currently run by the very proud Lord Marcus, oversees the kingdom of Tera'tun as a whole, in addition to the tower. As such, it is common to see the Evier family helping out, considering that Lady Alyssa was an Evier before marrying into the family. The Wild Woods are a strange and magical place. Many who feel the pull of the arcane like to spend time in this place, save for the wizards, who prefer to study at the tower or the Unbroken. There are a great number of fey creatures here, and the leaves eternally rise instead of fall. Many claim the forest to have traveled to Tera'tun straight from the Fey Wilds, although no one can properly explain how that might have happened, and has become home to a great many of the elves who appreciate the woods or their own kind over the stone cities of men. It is currently run by Lord Harold, who spends much of his time attempting to repair the relationships between the Bronwyns and the rest of Tera'tun, given the recent acts of ex-Lord Kola. The Unbroken is a magical land where few are brave enough to traverse and even fewer to return. There are a few maps of the location that have been obtained by those who manage to travel over the land, but they may not be entirely accurate, as no one is truly brave enough to go back for a second chance. There are a great number of ruined cities that lay across the land, where there may or may not be inhabitants. The only proper occupants are the members of the Underborn family. They wear purple and white robes, and have strangely glowing purple eyes, which are some unknown effect of the arcane energy that courses through them. They consider the need for physical weapons a weakness and a factor of lesser being. Their leader, Lord Edgard, is as secretive as the man before him, and the man before him, and the man before him, and so on. Nothing is really known about the Underborn or their history, as they refuse to release a family tree or a notable history of events. It is not even known exactly why they wear the purple masks, as it may be to hide their true identity. In the northeast corner of the world lies the kingdom of Tera'tun. It is a varied land full of lords and ladies, where your word and your vow are given out with greater care than gold and silver. There are a total of 16 different lands, each with a main hold and with several bannermen who are loyal to them. While some of the lands are larger or richer than others, Each carries a great history and prestige with it. Dark and difficult to traverse, the dark swamps are a wild and murky land. Here, beings such as the furbolgs and turtles do well and thrive in the natural swampy land. The majority of beings in these swamps have to build, work hard, and adapt fast in order to survive. However, given the circumstance that led to the acquiring of the dark swamps, most who live here hold it in very high esteem. Any who can make it in these lands for a full year are considered to be made of sterner stuff, and respected by those who know physical battle. Lord Wilhelm was gifted the swamps by the Lord of the Riverwood family at the time, when he helped root out and destroy the last of the traitor Alistair family, who held the swamps at that time. He has been determined to make something of them ever since, and to end up in his good graces is considered exceedingly difficult. Dragon Tongue is a harsh land with extremely sharp, rocky ground that's difficult to traverse for anyone who is not an extremely seasoned traveler or familiar with the terrain. To make matters worse, the land has several fissures that spread across the ground that are suspected to be part of a large lake of lava just beneath the surface. Regardless, it is always extremely hot here and can exhaust those unused to such conditions. As such, those who live here are hard and battle-ready by and large. Most everyone born here is either a hunter or a gatherer, as food and fresh water are difficult to come by. That considered, those who are able to cast magic are held in high reverence here. The lands are currently led by a red dragonborn warrior who goes by Spark. He is extremely suspicious of outsiders, and it can be difficult to gain his favor if he feels slighted. However, if his culture is respected, and he feels he is being treated with the same respect as any other lord, he can be kind enough to visit her. Galat is often considered to be the sole honest kingdom left in Tera'tun. It is run by the Light family, and the only place where no vengeance or war is allowed to be waged. The Light family spends much of their time attempting to make things equal, whether it hurts their own forces or not, believing in equality and justice above all else. The land itself is very fair, with a lake in the middle that is always perfect for swimming or sailing. Upon the island in the middle is Draco Moors, a large hall with a grand table, capable of seating over 40 individuals that are all able to be heard in equal measure by a process of a spell within its walls. The Light family tends to look down on forms of bootlicking. Gifts and compliments might bring disdain if you are not already a friend of the family. However, good deeds and an honest reputation can put one in good graces before having even met them. Lord Kanan is an adventurous lad, recently turned 14, and desperate to prove that despite his young age, he is a capable leader and warrior. He is often kind to royals who treat him as an equal. However, if he feels mocked or made less of, he can grow to be hot-headed. The Kragnag Range is a series of cities within the shadow of a vast mountain range, boasting several expensive gems and ore. Many hope to retire within its territory because of the low-cost economy and breathtaking landscapes. However, within the past few decades, there has become a growing unrest between the majority of the workers and the ruler of the Kragnag Range. While there are a number of dangerous creatures within the confines of the lands, there is a skilled god presence who are capable warriors. It is home to many of the dwarves within the land of Tera'tun, but is in fact not run by a dwarf. It is run by Ares Evier. Ares is now an old man, grown fat and lazy on his throne, and is a master manipulator. Still, he is increasingly distracted with his distant cousin's romantic inclines towards William Hart, a scrappy soldier in his army who has a habit of ignoring orders he finds stupid. Evier often enjoys receiving expensive gifts, but is extremely hard to actually gain his trust. The Lost Islands are a series of islands in the northwest corner of the world, often cold and windy. It is most well known as being the burial site for most of those in Tera'tun, consisting of hundreds of thousands of tombs and crypts. It is largely enchanted to ensure that necromantic practices and experiments are not performed on those who rest here. There are a few housesteads, such as the Kaporis Hall to the north. However, in general, it is a very quiet place, built for people to safely mourn and visit those who have moved on. Some say that the island is cursed or blessed, but most just consider it a place of rest. The Cowell family is very old and currently ruled by Lady Evelyn, who is very interested in unique weaponry and watches over her islands, much like a hawk, keeping an eye out for those who might seek to perform evil deeds. She is well known for her unique whip-like blade. Home to the more skilled farmers and horse lords of Tera'tun, Lothel is a land full of long, tall fields and gently sweeping hills. It is a home to many who prefer to work hard as opposed to having a cushy lifestyle. The people here are generally honest and caring, and they have little patience for politics or legal issues, preferring to let common decency and the law of equality run things over controlling government. There is some concern among the locals over the coral hunt, which is a long, winding cavern full of strange monsters and beings. However, many of the young men consider it a rite of passage to track down one of these monsters through the hills and kill it when they reach adolescence. Lothel is currently run by Christina Woodway, who is made particularly famous for helping drive back the monsters that inhabited Tugenia. She is said to be a wonderful horse rider and capable fighter. As such, she and her horsemen are considered exceptionally dangerous anywhere where horses can maneuver easily. It is said there is no mount alive that can match a Lothelian steed. Covered in strange, dark clouds that persist even on a sunny summer afternoon, Nyanetta is considered to be a safe haven for any who have goals and ideals they'd rather were not made known in public. However, that being said, the Talma family usually has little patience for anything that would cause large-scale pain or damage to the common man. As such, there is a mutual respect amongst any who do business within the country. Any attempt at robbery or poor dealing can be made punishable by death. Many who spend their lives in the shadows or look to get lost choose Nyanetta. However, if another kingdom is chasing you down for past crimes, they may refuse to accept you. Currently, they are ruled by Lord Neldor, and while he certainly has strong principles, it can be hard to tell exactly what he does or does not find acceptable, and seemingly random things can set him off even to the point of occasionally attacking someone. Obsidian, the small island kingdom, sits in the shadow of the nearby earthen plain and is full of people who prefer an adventurer's life, and those who would dare to take the paths less traveled for promises of adventure or treasure. The people there do have to work hard, with everyone being expected to pull his or her own weight to help keep everything running. But whatever fever may grip them, or whatever quest they may wish to take, they are encouraged to do so. It is also said to be a very wealthy land, with many spending time among the path of fire, daring to walk the burning coals to prove themselves, though no one ever seemingly returns from this venture. As such, visitors can sometimes be put off by the seemingly odd life of the islanders. They are somewhat slow to trust, but are willing to share what they have with the often exhausted and sea-tired adventurers that reach their land. Obsidian is currently ruled by Lord Roderick, and he is in favor of working with the other kingdoms, especially the Lost. This has given them a set of powerful ships, said to be some of the strongest in the world, often bearing crews of 200 or so men and women. Rage of the Gods is said to primarily consist of a large island in the middle of a lake of lava. Many of the older generation give respect to the legendary Dragon of the Magma River, said to spread throughout the entire kingdom. However, many nowadays do not believe in these rumors centered around this supposed dragon. The dwarves who have been running the land for over 400 years swear by its divine powers, and there may be something to it as they breed unrivaled warriors. Strength and power rule strong here, and a man who is capable in battle is often more respected than somebody who has a full coin purse. Of course, you can recognize talent and hold your drink, it certainly won't hurt. The Rage of the Gods is currently helmed by Lord Balshon, who spends most of his days in Archdale as opposed to Maryport, preferring to pray most of his days and problems to the Dragon of the Magma River. Founded by the oft-thought insane goblin Garrot, Sapphire Shores is flowing with liquid magic and set on a beautiful chains of islands and beaches. Sapphire Shores is home to many new and untested forms of magic, not readily available to those who study in the rest of the world. Therefore, the Lord made two Warforged and transfigured his own son Wix into a Verdin, a fate shared by a few of the goblins who lived in the City of Glass. As such, many don't really know what to think of Sapphire Shores, and it has become something of a haven for both freaks and those who appreciate the beautiful and the odd. Many think of themselves as more advanced or accepting than the other lands, and many beings such as tieflings or goblins find an odd acceptance from the locals, provided they don't break its laws. Still, even in the course of the law, it is a very forgiving and understanding land. Lord Wix, who is extremely physically changeable, is a mix of a fun jest and a symbol of acceptance for his people. Wix spends much of his time out and about among the locals, often focusing his time with the younger children or adventurous creators on the land. There is no guard presence here, rather the locals form watches all their own and protect one another. If you are there, you are considered family. The Shadowed Forest is a kingdom consisting of huge, sprawling woods for which it was named, and saved by a set of Tabaxi brothers. It is now a considerably hostile and dangerous place after the wild Trent betrayed and killed Lord Ice 12 years ago. While those outside the forest are able to live a normal life during the daylight hours, they must spend their nights vigilantly on watch and wary of evil creatures that may set upon the towns. Those within the forest itself have it even harder, often having to rely on liberal uses of the alarm spell, not to be surprised in the middle of the night. However, those that live here see their efforts as noble, protecting the rest of the world from the darkness of the night. Lord Snow holds his father's murder against the forest itself, and the hostile attitude he holds against it has hurt the local trade. However, the Lord is not alone in his anger, as much of the locals mourn the loss of the Tabaxi Lord they had over a decade ago. The Shattered Ice is a frozen tundra, once rumored to have properly belonged to the frozen wasteland of the water plane. It is now a collection of villages and stone towers that were built to withstand the frigid temperatures. Those who live here are either more comfortable in the cold and recluse, or hope to utilize the cold in some way. While many creatures do poorly in such frigid temperatures, there are those creatures who revel in the lower temperatures, and they provide a very real danger to any who get lost in the wilderness. It is ruled by a strong family of orcs who believe in either the trial of blood or banishment as a punishment. It seems harsh, but it means that grudges and slights are forgotten fairly quickly. Despite the harsh punishments present, Lord Mackinac is an uncommonly caring orc, often seeing to the care of smaller villages or families before taking care of himself. He's also an extremely skilled warrior, rumored to fight polar bears unarmed and unarmed.
Hello everybody and welcome to the Natural One, where we play Dungeons & Dragons, we roll the dice, we kill the creatures, and we tell the stories. And welcome to our first official streamed episode. We will of course be putting this up on YouTube channel later. I just stumbled all over my words. We're about 10 seconds in. Wonderful, this is going to go perfectly. So before we get started, do want to go ahead and give a quick shout out to our friends over at Brass Engine. Make a lot of really cool stuff. They make leatherworking and jewelry. It's all nerd themed, all D&D themed stuff. Very cheap comparatively. I think they sell like the leather journal covers for like $55 a piece, which is far cheaper than you'll find at most other places. So I'll make sure that the link is in the description on the YouTube page if you guys want to check them out. Link in the description. Also, all the artwork that is going to you guys will be seeing in a little bit is also linked in the description. We want to give a shout out to the artists who work on those because we don't have those skills. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and kick things off with our third campaign set in the mystical land of Tera'tun, full of lords and ladies, where your word is more important than your gold or your power. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and roll the Natural One.
It's your time to fly, or your time to die. Let's have some fun on the Natural One. You can roll the dice if you pay the price. No, we're not done. It's the Natural One. It's the Natural One. It's the Natural One. You got dragons and flagons and horses with wagons. There's a ton of powerful shit that your crew's dragging. You're a titan of fighting in the day or night. It's an amazing story that you all are writing. It's your time to fly, or your time to die. Let's have some fun on the Natural One. You can roll the dice if you pay the price. No, we're not done. It's the Natural One. It's the Natural One. It's the Natural One.
And welcome back. So, in the northeast corner of the world lies Tera'tun, a conglomeration of 16 different lands ruled by different lords and ladies, respectively, where everything is ruled from the Tower, a large metropolis placed in the southwest corner of country. I'm realizing I said northeast earlier. I meant northwest. That's okay. I will never learn my west and my east. It will not happen on this show.
Weast.
Weast. Let me go ahead and pull up your guys' map for a second. All right. So within the Kingdom of the Tower, you guys have several surrounding cities. There are a few different holds. Most of the cities are somewhat smaller, more meant to be places of respite for those who are traveling to Demonis Castle, which is the large central hold. It, in particular, is a huge, just metropolis of a city. Within Des Moines Castle, there is really nothing that is unusual or odd or out of place. They're essentially kind of, if you want to think of it in this way, the New York of Tera'tun, just full of all sorts of different races, professions, practices. You name it, they do it here. So you guys are walking through, gathered together. It's kind of in the middle of a very bustling day. It's actually the first of Arnott, which is the first of the new year, and as it so happens, the birthday of one of your party members. It's Ronan's birthday today. People are still busy celebrating, as the previous night was the year's sign, which is a night when everyone gathers around to see what of the 4 moons are lit, and supposedly give a sign as to the fortune of the next year. In particular, this last Fortune's night was a cursed night, being only one red moon in the sky. As such, it has people a little bit panicked, a little bit worried. There are still plenty of people who think pure superstition, pure bullshit. There's no need to be concerned about any of that. A couple days ago, one of your party received an invitation to come to a bar known as the Broken Bed within Des Moines Castle. Or within the hall, I should say. It's not within the actual keep itself, but it's within the city. So as you guys travel through, it's just, again, think very bustling. There's carts going every which way. There are shop vendors. There are carnival games being played. There are children running back and forth. It's still a day of high energy, high celebration, high movement. What would you guys like to do?
Are we together?
You guys are currently together, yes.
And we are inside the bar, correct? Or are we on our way there?
Right now, you guys are outside.
We're outside?
Does it look like a nice inn or bar? Or
It does not look like a nice inn or a bar. It is serviceable. There is stuff in it. As you guys look, you can clearly see. Go ahead and make an investigation check for me. First roll of the campaign. Let's do it.
Natural 20 when...
Oh, can we adjust that camera?
natural 20.
No.
Really?
Yes.
That.
Oh,
Yep.
fine.
That's a natural 20.
Other way.
Here we go.
Starting strong.
There you go. So looking in, just in a Sherlock Holmes-like escapade of sight, Lan, you see everything almost zooming in on you. You can see there's a crack in the floor. That board is at least rotting through. You just see everything. You can clearly tell this is an area that it needs some care, but there is clearly a lot of heavy traffic here. So it's at least not poisoning people. It is serviceable in some regard.
Can I see, like, what do people look like are going in?
It's a strong mix of people. Typically, these are a lot of people that are the working lifestyle. So fishermen, sailors, farmers from outside the city, just people that are essentially a lot of the working class that are looking to experience reprieve and a night of relaxation. As such, there are a few bards in there, not many, not what you would consider to be high court bards, if you will, but some entertainment and some people who are performing poetry and a lot of people who are drinking and playing stupid games with one another that even looking, you guys really aren't sure what the point is.
Lan. What are we thinking?
I'm thinking we should have Zeke lead the way, just because it seems more like his people. You know, sailors. Sailors a lot.
It's a little bit like my people. We did get a note from Kashi saying they might have some work for us.
Scroll down on the sound. I don't know if those. Yeah.
What
Scroll
type
down.
of work are we...
We're trading some horses
Horses.
for 200 gold.
Kazia, how does 200 gold sound to you?
I don't really care.
Kazia agrees. 200 gold sounds fantastic.
I believe that should be a piece as well.
What?
I believe that should be 200 a piece.
200 apiece?
I think it should be, unless I was mistaken.
Oh, yeah, 200 each. Were you looking at the letter? It's 200 gold each. So we each get our own 200.
Sounds good to me.
I'm more interested in finding these horses now.
It's a pretty heavy amount of gold. Why don't we go in and find this Michael?
Why don't we go inside and have a drink first?
Well, the Michael's apparently inside the bar. So I'd say that's a good idea.
Fantastic. Lead the way, Zeke.
Let's go, lads. I'll just head inside.
Zeke, as you push open the door to the bar properly, getting a full glimpse of what's inside, you see a number of people are standing around drinking. There are numbers of different ales and beers being passed around. People are cheering and laughing at one another. In particular, as you guys enter, you see an older man with long white hair down to about the small of his back. There's a smile on his face as he is sharing stories. The thing that grabs your attention most notably is the harsh carved wooden leg in place of his right foot. And as you guys enter, he turns around. Zeke, you salty son of a bitch!
Kashi, it's good to see you again. Got any more stories for us?
When don't I have stories? I was just telling these lads about the time I fought off an entire horde of sirens with my crew. It was possibly the most impressive night of my life, if I do say so, and not just because they were beautiful. I mean, these things, they could warp the mind of any lesser man, but yours truly isn't taken in quite so easily.
I've heard you talked most of them off.
Indeed, I did. I have to say, my captain was a little bit scared at the time, but I don't break quite so easily under pressure. So I managed to steel myself up as best I could, woo them with my undaring charm, and talk them off of our sailors. We managed to deliver our gear and had the added bonus of having them be grateful to us for the entirety of the rest of our flight, which is no small favor.
It is an interesting story. Kashi, is it?
Gashi Luna, at your service.
He's quite a wise and interesting storyteller. Got some crazy stories from his time on the sea.
He looks battle-hardened.
Oh, you're talking about old Stumpy here. Well, that I lost to a legendary battle with none other than a Kraken boy.
A Kraken, you say?
Oh, indeed. Carved my ship up to bits, nothing left of it but splinters. Fought underwater for, that must have been near 2 hours with the beast.
2 hours underwater.
He may have lost his leg. You should see the Kraken.
It's impressive.
Indeed. Took out took out one of its eyes and one of its hearts. That beast is still out there somewhere, I'm sure, waiting for me to come back for it.
Well, I hope I never have to run into that beast. Sounds like a terrible fight.
It's quite a challenge.
You know where we can find this Michael fellow?
Oh, of course. We're about to. Must have had a bit too much to drink, if there's no such thing. I believe he's got a room upstairs. He's waiting for you guys.
We shall be on our way with him. Appreciate it.
Nice to meet you, Kashi.
Nice to meet you, Mr.
Ronin.
Ronin. Any friend of Zeke's is a friend of mine.
I'll remember that. And I'm gonna scout the bar for anybody who may be watching us.
Okay. Go ahead and make a perception check for me, please.
Man, back in the day, that used to be my thing. You call that cocked or not?
No, that's fine.
That is an 18.
18, not bad. You know what? Whisper.
And let him walk around and see everything. That guy's big his nose.
That guy's playing Galaga. Sponsor.
Brass engine, everyone. No advertising.
Oh, right, no advertising. We don't want to get muted.
Muted. 3 warnings and you're out.
As we start to head towards the stairwell, I'm gonna whisper to you guys. There's a man in red and white cloaks watching us. Intensely.
What does he look like?
He's wearing
Oh, okay. I was wondering what that sound was.
he's wearing red and white studded leather with a cloak up over his face.
That's you?
Does not appear to be Ezio.
You had a dagger in your throat.
See a blade at his wrist.
Would I be able to associate his red and white cloak to any organization or anything?
Go ahead and make a history check. And it's the armor that's red and white. The cloak is just a plain color.
History.
Does the armor look newer, or
It does not. It looks extremely dirty and very worn.
does it look fancy though?
Your ups and downs.
Make
are right on
a
point.
Is like,
make a perception check for me.
wow.
A natural 1.
Oh shit! The money's in the car.
It's okay.
I'll keep in mind of it. I'll grab it at break.
Breaks.
Mark,
Literally
you
the
actually
one
do
thing I'm
recognize
good
that,
at.
huh?
Of course.
Would you like me to go inquire as to his reasoning?
Not yet. He may be here looking for the same thing we're looking for, but his armor does seem to be quite nice. We may be able to get some few pieces.
Why don't we
of
go
gold
talk to
from him.
Michael? On our way back, if we see him still in the bar, maybe face him then.
Would you prefer I stay down here?
If you'd be willing to keep an eye on him, might be better.
Sure. Now I'll just go up to the bar, order an ale, and keep an eye on our friend over here.
Okay. As you go up to the bar, there is a young man. Looks to be possibly half-elf. He has pointed ears, long blonde hair, and you can see his eyebrows are somewhat more prominent on his features, but clearly doesn't have quite the grace and sophistication that elves tend to have. And as you do, he kind of eagerly pops up. Oh, what can I get you, sir?
Ale.
Immediately just slides an ale to you. It'll be a silver piece, please.
I will pretend to sip it, but not actually drink it.
Okay.
And then we're gonna head up and go talk to Michael.
Okay. As the three of you enter the room, you see a man with fairly long brown hair, kind of swept over to one side. Actually, I have a picture, if I can find it somewhere here. Somewhere here, I have a picture.
Ronan is going to stand in the doorway,
Are you blocking the doorway?
blocking the doorway from
From-
anyone else getting in.
Okay, you're keeping watch essentially, almost.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that's the one. So you guys see this gentleman. His clothes are fairly well made, but also definitely share some use. You can see that he has a long sword over his back that appears to be made of higher quality steel than you would typically find, just from a commoner, people say. Appears to have some experience. You can see clearly just from his clothes and his boots that he is travel worn. So he's not, it's not a sedentary life. He doesn't live within the city limits, it seems, or at least regularly travels outside of them. As you come in, he's currently reading a slip of paper. Appears to be a recently delivered note. You see him.
So I do believe you're Michael.
Yes, you're Zeke, right?
I am Zeke.
Who are your companions?
Friends of mine that are willing to chip in on helping get those horses back.
Well, as it happens, I have a contact within the main hall that ordered a set of Lothelian steeds. They are reliable beasts, but of course, has to get them down here in order for them to be used by the local guard and such. And I believe the king wants one himself as a wedding present. So as such, he has allowed me to choose a group that I feel would be reliable in returning them. It's a journey that would take you up to Lothel, which is a little ways away. I don't know how far you all have traveled, but
Not opposed to traveling.
well, the job is relatively simple. Make your way up to Lothel, complete the transaction for the horses, ride them back down. You'll each receive 200 gold.
Transactions, so what are we giving them?
There's a sack of gold that's already been an agreed upon price, so hopefully none of you have sticky fingers. But basically, you'll just have to physically complete the transaction. They've already agreed on the price through Ravens, and I just need you to actually physically hand them the gold. They will hand you the horses, and you'll ride the set back down.
Would you be against one of us counting the gold to make sure that it's all there so we're not getting gypped?
Perfect.
We're set up.
He nods and places a sack of gold down on the table.
Would you mind counting that?
Yeah, I can do that. And then I'll probably just pour it on the bed and then just start
Okay.
counting it.
For the sake of brevity, as you go through counting it, you find there's about 2,000 gold pieces in there. And then upon completion of delivery, I will make sure each of you are paid.
Sounds like a good deal to me. Ronan, sound good to you?
And just how long of a travel do you suspect this is?
That's a wonderful question. Let me do some measurements.
Because we're at the tower,
Right.
and we gotta go up to Lawful.
Where?
Lawful, straight north.
Well, actually, I suppose that kind of depends on what path you all wish to take. There are a couple different ways you could go about this. Let me pull up the right map.
And will food be provided for the horses, or will we be providing food?
They will provide feed for the horses once you acquire them.
Fantastic.
But, as you see, you could choose to head north from the tower into the Wildwood. There's also a map on the screen either.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, it's Lawful.
You could choose to head north from the tower into the Wildwood, which would then take you up through the dark swamps.
Okay.
And then, following that road, up to the Lothel, or possibly even going near Gallet if you so desired. You could, of course, take the river all the way up to Gallet if you would like, and then from Gallet to Lothel. That might be an easier mode of travel, although I don't know what might be living in the river. I personally don't like to stay on any longer than I have to. Or you could just choose to head straight north following the coast. Although there are a great number of beasts and it might be fairly dangerous to travel too far off of the main roads.
So we're looking at 2 to 3 days there.
I imagine quite a bit longer than that.
$200 apiece.
And you guys would know that from the tower to the Wildwood, which is where the Lunaria live, doing measurements, that would be about, what's 8 times 3? 240 miles,
240 miles.
which is about 10 days by foot.
Yeah, by foot, 10 days. Easily. Okay. So are we saying 10 days there and 10 days back?
Well, you're going to Lothel, not the Wildwood.
Oh, to the Wildwood is just 10 days?
Is there a time limit that we have to
Uh,
by?
10.
For the sake of His Majesty's ease, it would be best if you were back before his wedding on the 5th of April. Beyond that, not necessarily.
So we have a month and a few days.
I'm thinking take the river there, because that'll be the easiest and the fastest. And then just ride the horses back. We can just use the path then.
We should attempt to avoid the dark swamps by all means. You don't want to be caught there when the sun goes down.
If we're on the river, we can just be on the east coast of the river whenever we can. Stay the whole river away from the dark swamp and rather than camping in it.
So we take the river up.
I say take the river all the way to Lothal, and then take the path back, going to Gallet, and then down to the Wildwood and back to the tower. And just avoid the dark swamps
And the coast.
and the coast.
Okay. Okay. I'm going to leave the doorway and walk over to Michael and extend my hand for a handshake.
He smiles, shakes your hand.
Your word is our bond.
My word is my bond.
Then we shall have this done.
Very well. Before you set out, if I can find out where I put them, they're behind Polyut.
What's our friend downstairs doing?
He is... Actually, you see him appears to be intently listening.
Is there an empty table closer to where he's sitting?
Yeah, there are a number of tables placed all around with either a solitary or empty.
I'm gonna go sit down at one of the tables near him.
Okay.
So, my new friend,
Just
do you have
pretend
someone
to mind
waiting
my own
downstairs for you?
business.
There's an associate of mine, yeah?
Red and white armor?
Yes.
Just curious. He was kind of keeping an eye on us. Just wanted to make sure he was one of yours.
He's an interesting being, but not without reason.
Anything we should be worried about?
No. He's reliable. I've worked with him several times before. These may come in use. He will hand you 2 common healing potions.
Thank you.
Much appreciated. Sure.
Ronan, would you like that?
You two hold them. You said the man downstairs is a friend of yours.
An associate of mine.
Shit. You left him downstairs with Kasia.
I don't really know Kasia that well, but
We should be on our way.
yeah.
Wow. No trust. No
So
trust.
I'm also going to hold out my hand for a handshake.
Okay.
Let's see. Nice doing business with you. We'll see you soon.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
You. And just head on back downstairs.
While this is going on, as you sit down at the table, a moment later, the man in the cloak and the red and white armor sits down across the table from you. You see him just as he begins to roll up and begin smoking tobacco.
Filthy habit, friend.
Not many that come into a bar to not drink.
Not many.
Can't drink.
What?
I said, remember, you can drink.
I can. Yeah, chose not to.
I know.
You can't pay and you can't drink.
We're working.
You
I'm
can't
just
pay
gonna
any
ask, why are you watching us?
You're people of interest.
A lot of people of interest in this bar.
Not many so interesting as you.
Well, mind your business.
Oh, I do.
Great. I just look down in my glass.
A waiter in the back drops a glass. You hear something turn.
Did you want to have words with us or something?
No, not at the moment. Just keeping an eye out.
Did you
And
think
after
a lot?
all, it was just a cursed night, wasn't it?
Superstition.
Spooky jerk.
Yeah.
Man, it seems every chair you sit in, one of the legs is just a little bit shorter than the other one.
It's a curse.
The man gets up from the table, walks out of the bar. A few moments later, your friends come down from upstairs with a sack of gold and a couple health potions.
Do I notice that the man is gone?
Would you be looking for him?
Yeah.
Then I'll say yes, you probably could tell the man is not there.
I'm just gonna walk up to the table where Kasia is sitting. Well, that was fast. How bad did you beat him?
No, we just talked.
Oh,
He admitted to watching us and left.
strides being made.
He's apparently an associate of the guy we're doing this job for.
Makes sense. That's what I would have done. I'll just hand you the ale and get up.
I'm with the chug.
So apparently we're heading up to Lothal to get some horses. It's quite a travel. Like cross-country kind of travel.
For horses?
We'll get 200 gold each. It's a healthy sum. Especially at this level.
Gold is gold.
Are we sure that the gold will be good and clean? I know that's
He said it is. And if it's not, we'll just bring it back.
We do have this bag of 2,000 gold. It's I think he's good for the money.
I just know that some people accept different things outside of gold at their own.
Marcellus, go ahead. I apologize. Ronan. Wow, flashback. I apologize. Ronan, go ahead and make an insight check for me.
13.
13? I mean, he clearly handed you money.
I suppose we need to figure out when's a good time to leave.
Well, we
You
don't
guys
have
would all
anything.
know that night is typically a more difficult time.
What is the time of day, DMs?
This would be probably early afternoon.
I'd say tie anything up we got going on here, and then leave first thing in the morning.
That might be best.
Do you have a contact to find us a boat at the river?
Is Kashi still?
Gosh, she's still in the bar.
Hey, Kashi.
Ah, yes.
You might have a spare boat we could use temporarily.
Might I have a spare boat you can use? I have many boats. How soon would you need said boat?
Tomorrow morning.
That can probably be arranged.
Within the week would be preferable, but tomorrow morning.
I genuinely just put water on myself, acting like I was being nonchalant. Well, we can definitely within 2 days at the latest.
We can wait out a little 2 days. Be a hell of a travel for us, so 2 days isn't going to matter much.
We'll still be going at least 2 days faster than if we took the
I'm
road.
walking. I agree. 2 days won't be a problem.
All right. Well, I'll see what I can get you.
Much appreciated, lad.
We're looking for speed or defense.
Speed, preferably. Want to get this job done.
We'll see what can be done. You see him wobble out of the bar. It's a little hard to tell if he's wobbling due to the leg or due to the alcohol he's likely consumed while being here.
I'd imagine a little of both.
Little column A, little column B.
Right, well, in that case, we got a couple days to burn.
Ronan is going to put Kazi to the side.
What now?
The information I provided you for your target, did it turn out well? Was the target still there?
He was not.
I will still keep my contacts open.
Appreciate it.
No problem.
Till the meantime, I guess we have jobs to do.
In time, though.
Eventually.
Yes.
You can't evade me forever.
While I'm having this conversation now, I'm looking for a bounty board or anything for any jobs that need to be done in the town.
Okay, are you looking for something that you could do before you guys would head out?
Yeah, just something. Put a little gold in our pocket.
If you find anything, let me know, and I'm going to just sit at the bar and start drinking.
I'm gonna join him in looking for it.
Should we describe our characters to each other? Because I feel like I'm working with blank faces here.
Do it. I got it.
Well, I'm wearing a Jabberwocky mask, so that could be why.
Of course you are. At all times?
All times.
Of course.
Well, I have a Stormtrooper helmet on.
Okay.
I'm naked, so
Oh, great.
you see everything.
With a Chewbacca mask.
God.
Okay,
¿Qué pasa?
see a
This
severe
would be
lack
no,
of
this would be
body.
before they get on the boat.
That's the story.
Okay, so while the DMs are having their talk,
Okay, that's fine, too.
let's describe our characters.
Sure.
So, Zeke is a decently built elven male with darker olive, like sun-kissed skin, white hair back and he's got like a headband on holding his hair back, kind of shaggy, longish. He's got sailor themed tattoos going from like the shoulder all the way down his right arm, mostly sirens and like boat-related stuff.
So, Ronan, looking at the bounty board, you do see there is a claim of a farmer a little ways outside the town who has had a problem with some weird, possibly fey creatures, and he's offering a bounty of 40 gold for people to clear them out.
I'm gonna
I
snatch
say
it.
50 is around
So
there.
we were talking.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Stop interrupting DMs.
I thought you were having an outside conversation, genuinely.
No, I was describing my character.
I apologize. My mistake.
Do you have pictures of our characters to put on the screen to help with visualization?
Again, for people watching at home, or for you guys,
Us, just to
I
be able
do
to-
not.
Plus, that wouldn't match my character anyway.
Oh.
You know why? I think. Yeah.
Use that headband. Hold your
Yeah.
hair back.
And they have the sailor-themed tattoos all over his right arm. He's about 5'10", bright green eyes, cocky smile. That's pretty much it. Oh, he's like a really like a worn sailor shirt, about 3/4 sleeve, really worn, and just generic dirty brown trousers. Like he's very, very normal looking,
Okay.
clothing-wise.
Okay.
Lan is a skinny white human. He very pale. He does take care of himself though. He's got a nice kind of like a not aristocratic jacket, but it's as good as a commoner can get to it.
Okay.
And then he's yeah, he seems like I would assume you guys would think he's a nice guy.
A straightforward fellow.
Okay. Kazuya is also white. Not, it's somewhere in between tan and pale. Not exactly either. Very dark eyes, shorter length, dark black hair. He's wearing a white kimono. He has a sword behind his back. And he's got a black leather cloth wrapped around his shins. And there's a black Ouroboros on the back of his kimono.
Gotcha.
So when do you travel?
Very nonchalant
Just
looking.
a little bit
Mhm.
like here-ish. But there.
Ronan is a taller than normal half elf, standing at about 6'1". He has green eyes and sand-colored skin.
Oh, okay.
He has long black hair that's kind of in a French braid. Wearing a very nice set of fitted black armor
Because they can farm. Because one
with
is anyway.
light blue
They can
and
just like here-ish after when
white
they travel.
designs weave through the armor with
The
the
farmers
crest of the
literally right outside
Lunari
the
on
city.
his left chest blade,
Because it's literally just farms for this.
with a very unique sword sheathed on his back.
Because they have like a couple days until they get the.
I want to see a picture. I know D's seen it, but
Oh, I guess I could show you mine too. Huh.
But yes, so you do find a job on the board that looks like it's just a little ways outside the city.
Gotcha. Cool.
I may have found someone of us. Seems that there's a farmer in need of clearing out some type of creature. The reward is 40 gold.
how far out of the city is it?
What I know how far outside the city it is.
Go ahead and make a. Call this make nature or history.
Probably nature.
Go ahead and make a nature check for me.
Nature. Ooh, okay. 17.
It would be about 3.5 miles or so outside of the city, so not far, but just a little hike.
We could get there in about 2 hours if we take our time.
Well, I'm definitely down for it. Something for killing time and making money.
I agree.
It allows us to cover room and board for the night, maybe 2 nights if necessary. What do you think? Yes.
I'm not too worried about room and board, but I could use a little extra gold. I'm down.
Yes. Yes. I know Kazi doesn't care about the gold, but
Better than sitting around doing nothing.
that's my point exactly. Then let us head out.
Okay, so you guys are heading in now?
Yep.
Right. So you guys.
I think we can get this done before dark.
Possibly.
Because we could always do this in the morning. Since we got a couple days.
You said it's early afternoon?
Yes.
I prefer to be fresh.
Getting
for
close
a
to noon
journey.
at this point.
Getting close to evening?
Noon.
Getting close to noon?
Oh, getting close to noon. Oh, okay. Well, we got time.
Yeah, okay, yeah, good.
Okay. So you guys kind of check your gear, make sure everything's good to go. As you head out the door and start making your way through the city, again, you still very densely crowded, a lot of people. As you guys start heading out, you hear Omen's voice calling out to you.
appears to be getting closer. Turning around and looking, let me pull a picture. You see a woman with thick rimmed glasses and kind of tousled brown hair, relatively simple clothing, but with some ornate jewelry around her, kind of around her neck and around her wrists.
I was looking for that the whole time.
And a book kind of pressed close to her chest. She comes running up.
That's Zeke.
Hi, Hilda. What can I do for you?
Well, I heard you were back in town. I was excited to see you again.
Zeke.
Yes, we're actually about to be leaving on a bounty.
Oh, you're not traveling outside the city then?
Yes, not just for the evening.
How far are you going?
Would I know the name of the farm?
Well, from the bounty board, you would, yes. I'm sorry. Pull my, It's the Corby farm.
The Corby farm.
Oh, I can't say I've been much, well, I've been out there once, but, obviously don't go very far or anything. So will you tell me about it when you get back then?
Yeah, I'll meet you at the library.
You see a smile starts to come over her face. She begins scribbling things down in her, in the book that she has with her.
Alright, we'll be on our way. You have a good one, Hilda.
You too. Hi, bye friends.
Friend of
Good,
yours?
good day, Hilda.
You can say that.
More like a fan.
We have a nice journey land. Feel free to tell us all about it.
It would be about an hour and a half hike.
You said it's an hour and a half?
About an hour and a half, yeah.
Is it a peaceful travel, or are there...
Being this close to the city, there's still a very heavy guard presence,
Okay.
and actually there are resin torches, which, again, common knowledge, you guys would know that are trees that are actually, or branches, I apologize, that are cut down from the shadowed forest, and when they are burned, they burn a bright ember blue color, and they supposedly help ward off monsters and creatures. So being this relatively close, it's not common that there are creatures. There are still a few that make their way past patrols and checkpoints and things of that nature.
Sounds like your friend of yours.
It's an acquaintance. She is kind of...
Just an acquaintance.
Yes.
You sure?
Obsessed with you?
She's very intrigued.
Exchange
with
books at all?
my,
Read each other's stories. Have a little fun.
Yes, no. But, no, she knows I've been around, so she's
You've been around.
interested.
So he's the one that gets around, not
I
her.
travel a lot.
Right?
Mm.
That's what we meant.
Of course. That's what that means.
What else would it mean?
We all know he gets around. Let's leave it at that.
Let's continue on.
Anyway,
So as you guys travel a ways outside the city, and begin moving your way down the small country road, and you can see that there are tracks from livestock and carts that bring supplies to and from the city, which is how most of these farmers out here actually earn their keeping. And you guys are certainly not far enough from the city to lose sight of it. Still, being such a large place and being elevated a little bit, it's well within sight, very easy to keep. You can actually still make out the keep from this distance quite easily.
Okay.
But as you guys travel, you eventually come into what is heavier farmland. There are fields of wheat, lots of corn, and different trees of apples, peaches, things of that nature. And you can tell this is obviously a land that's cared for. However, as you approach and begin to look through, you see pieces of it have been toppled over or ravaged. And you can see where there are marks from kind of makeshift traps, things that obviously they've been trying to kind of keep and ward off the creatures. Obviously, if they've been posting bounty, it isn't really working so well.
Do any of the signs that we're seeing of them, it's of them being attacked, or is it like...
Go ahead and make an investigation check.
Will I be able to help him since I am proficient in investigation?
I will say yes.
You have advantage.
Okay, 23.
23. It does not appear to be that the farmer specifically has been attacked, more that the crops are just being ravaged by these creatures. There has been fights but you don't think that just looking at it, you don't feel like the farmer was necessarily targeted by the creatures.
You see a lot of dead cattle as well.
A lot of livestock that's been attacked.
You saved me from a nat 1.
An 18 and a 1.
Yeah, roll a 1 and an 18.
Are there any tracks? Survival check. Not bad survival, actually.
Damn. Good call.
20.
20?
20.
You do see some tracks. You do not recognize what creature could have made them.
Large tracks?
No.
Small tracks?
Some are small, like very small. Some are medium-sized. The smaller tracks look like they're almost like a bigger chicken.
The forked kind of appearance and feet.
The medium tracks look like they could be from a smaller humanoid. You're not particularly sure, but they do look not like a normal footprint.
But fairly small.
This sounds like our session 0.
Do I recognize the tracks?
You do not.
Let's go find the farmer.
That'd be my thought. Talk to the farmer, see what information we can get.
I agree.
Huh?
There's obviously multiple.
Ronan is gonna go knock on the door.
So as you walk up and knock on the door, there's a sudden, the door actually bursts open. It is an explosion, and as you look back, you can actually see the farmer standing there with a rifle pointed directly at you, Ronan. Shit. Sorry.
Let's take it easy now. Would a creature be knocking at your door?
I don't know what it can do. It's been causing me a lot of asshole trouble lately.
What is it?
I don't know, but it's been eating my shit and killing my shit, and I can't have... it's been doing a lot of bad stuff.
I'm gonna just.
You guys are from the you guys are here for the bounty outpost.
I'm gonna pull
Right, we
a
are.
piece of paper out that has the bounty on it. We're
Oh,
here.
thank fuck.
We're here to alleviate the issue.
Have you seen the creatures at all?
Well, never in the full light. They typically attack more at night.
So never in the full light. Do you have any idea what they look like?
They're fairly small.
How many?
I think 2, maybe 3.
And when did this start?
Like a week and a half, 2 weeks ago.
It was about maybe a fortnight ago.
Do you have any idea which way they come from?
Camping somewhere nearby, they never come from strictly the same direction. They're clever enough as it comes.
And since you've been on this farm, is this the first time you've had issues with this creature?
First time I've had anything like this. I mean, we, a few wolves every now and then, but nothing
How often do they come attack? Is it every night?
every few nights.
When's the last time they attacked?
Well, about 2 days ago.
So you think there's gonna be another one tonight?
That'd be my betting.
Well, we could either try hunting out their tracks now, or we could wait for them to try to attack and just take them on then.
Well, we know they have to come here. Clearly they need to eat. How much more cattle do you have left?
At this point, last count I had about 12 heads.
Do you keep them grouped up, or do they have free range behind the
They're kept within a field, but it's a fairly large area.
How many head did you have before?
At its height, I had 50. Traded about 10 or so away, and left me with around about 30. And then after the attacks, started dwindling down quickly.
A lot.
That's a lot.
A lot of meat. You should.
A terrible amount over a fortnight, though.
If they're small, it's still a lot.
Just multiple of them.
We can always walk around, checking the tracks, see if we see anything out in the forest, and if we can't really spot anything, just come back here and wait.
You should set a trap.
DMs, would anything within the last 2 weeks of the moon shifts, would I know anything that would have triggered, or would the veil between planes been thinner?
Sure, go ahead and make a nature check for me.
Nature check, okay. Okay, nature I can do. Mike, what's that say for me?
That's an at 20.
22 in totality. Yeah.
Sure.
Mike, that's time.
What?
That's time.
Oh shit, you're right. Sorry. Thanks. You know how many times I do that? I started, I was doing work, and I was like, crap, I guess we'll do something, I'll come back.
Yeah, no, the only reason I do it is anymore because I just, like, I'll be at work reading, like, oh crap, I need to put the customer came and put the phone down, and I just lose it. No.
This whisper brought to you by Brass Engine, everybody.
Yeah.
Brass.
Luckily, I can auto this.
I'm just gonna, are we still on the porch with the farmer?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna hold that information for a minute.
Okay. You do whatever you want with it. It was your whisper.
Sir, what is your name?
Oh, my name is Tabby. My son's name is Jeb.
Tabby?
Yes.
Jeb.
Where's your son?
He's upstairs. Jeb, get down here. And after a while, you see a young boy, kind of straw-colored hair, appears to be about 12 or 13, just starting to get his man's growth started. Come down, and he has a pitchfork in his hands.
Jeb. I'm gonna how old were you?
About 12, 13.
I'm kinda gonna lay down in front of him. Put my hand up. My name is Ronan.
Pleasure to meet you, sir.
This is Kazia, Lan, and Zeke. We're going to be helping your father get rid of whatever this is that have been attacking your farm. But I need something from you.
If I can help, I certainly like to try.
I need you to be brave, and I need you to be smart. When the sun goes down, I need you in the house with your father.
I mean, I can do that.
Can you do that for us?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Tabby,
Yeah.
are you going to be giving us access to the entirety of your farm?
Whatever you folks need.
Okay.
Although, I'd stay away from the steer.
Keep your son inside tonight.
Absolutely.
We definitely need someone to protect you while we're out there hunting the beasts. I'm gonna wait.
He's a good boy.
He's got the weapon after all.
He does. And I'm going to walk down
Be a
the
dead
steps.
boy if they come after him.
Kazia, the truth isn't necessary.
Kazia, I need you to make an insight check for me.
Shit. Oh, that's actually not bad. 11.
Jeb is looking at you just... There is a fascination in his gaze. And just a focus.
I'm gonna ignore it.
You do what you want with it.
Yep.
Fuck that kid. I'm not a role model.
I'm not someone you should aspire to be.
And say it was appreciation.
Oh well. Try that pitchfork if he wants.
We'll do whatever we can to make
So-
sure these beasts don't harm you or your son.
Well, we'd be mighty grateful for that.
Can we use some of these traps that you put out?
If you can make them work, by all means.
What kind of traps do you have out there?
Well, picked up a few claw traps and bear traps. Cow traps. I said the word wrong. I'm not an educated man.
For me. Do you have a stable that you can put your cattle in at night?
They typically will come in for the night, especially if it's colder.
Okay. I'm gonna do that tonight. But in the meantime, let's gather the traps.
Sounds good. just kind of surveying the land.
Okay.
To
Go
be
ahead and
fair,
make a perception check for me.
I'm not one for land animals. I spent most of my life on the sea,
That's a 3.
so I'll do my best to help you guys, but
It
I'm not
is
really
land.
sure what all I can do in the way of setting up.
Let's try to make a choke point. So we want to trap the ins and outs of the stable. I'd say
We should put the cattle in the smaller enclosure.
in the stable. So yes.
Let's get on that then.
Okay, so we'll start gathering the traps, and then
Okay.
we'll have the farmer Tabby get prepare to get his cattle in the stable.
Okay. As you guys do gather up the traps, you see many of them are in bad shape. They are clearly rusted. Secondhand, basically looks like whatever he was able to use, he was trying to use, although not much of it is in any real condition. Animal handling check.
As we're gathering traps,
Thanks for an advantage.
fellas, I'm gonna say I believe these creatures are not from this plane. With the way the moons shift in this period, there are certain times where the lines between our plane and other planes are extremely thin.
Sounds spooky.
Can be, if the right thing comes through, yes. These creatures that we are fighting may be from a different plane, so be on your guard.
Would you know which plane?
No. Not without seeing him.
Not without seeing them.
Whatever the case and whatever they are, we're taking them down anyway.
Should we be ready for them to have any abilities?
Yes.
Okay.
So as the day begins to wear on, Tabby and Jeb finish moving the cattle into the stable. And you see them start to close them within the actual stables themselves. Throw essentially almost horse coats over them to help keep out some of the cold. Just prepare for the night to move on as they normally do.
Alright, I'm gonna take first watch then.
Can we figure out which traps would be best and then make sure we use them?
Make a you know what? Make a nature check. Let's call it that.
17.
I feel like if any of them are going to be at all effective, the bear traps might work.
We'll set them up.
It's just out of reach.
Outside the main entrance to the stable.
Okay.
Or actually, probably the back entrance.
So the back entrance is the one that's open to the field. The front entrance has doors, but they're barred off right now.
Okay, then whichever one we're not going to be actively guarding, that's where we should have the traps.
Okay.
You think that's a good idea?
I think that would work. And since... Is there a high point I can get to?
The rafters of the stable.
Okay. I'm going to...
A tree.
I'm going to put my shield away.
Okay.
I actually want to go talk to the farmer for a second.
Okay.
I'm going to equip my longbow and arrows, and I'm going to, when it's time to go watch, I'm going to go to try to make my way up to the rafters.
Okay. You guys witness as Ronan is just kind of experimentally. As you go in the house, seek. Daddy is currently washing up his hands at the sink, trying to get shit off of them.
Do you have any idea if these creatures are attracted to sound?
I think they work more by a sense of smell or taste or something.
Well, I assume they're going after the cattle for that, but I mean, were they more attracted to the noisy cattle, or were they just going after the Just any of them.
And there. No. Perception, wisdom, wisdom, wisdom score. I mean, they definitely can hear, but they didn't seem especially attracted to the sound.
Alright, fair enough. That's all I was wondering. Thanks.
Nothing, I was counting in my head.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were pointing at the computer. I thought you just
No,
wanted
no,
to
no,
use-
I was counting in my head, sorry.
I'm just gonna head back outside, go to the stables, and then take out my lute and start playing just gentle notes.
Okay. You guys just hear soft strumming, much like this.
That's kind of what made me think of it.
Zika just gently playing the lute.
What time of day would you think it'd be?
I guess it depends on what time you guys want to wait till. I guess I should rephrase this. Time will pass unless there was something else you guys wanted to do in particular.
Are there any more freshly dead cattle?
There are a few that they're starting to rot, but there's still some meat and stuff on them.
I say we.
Because
drag
really,
them-
after a few hours, if they haven't been cleaned and prepared, they start to.
Yeah. I say we drag the freshest kill into the open end of the stable. Not inside. We don't want to spook the other cattle too much. But
Just right in the
maybe.
opening.
Mhm.
Okay.
Bait's never a bad idea.
Then I will attempt to move
Maybe
the
not
body of the
yet,
cattle.
though. We got some time. Let's not
You
stink
don't,
it up
you don't
too
want
much.
to do it now? You sure?
Well, it's not dark yet.
I mean, but get it done now, don't worry about it later. You know, it's probably best if we wait. I don't want anybody throwing up their dinner.
I haven't had any yet.
Leave a trail of blood.
And they'll follow the trail. I like Kazuya. Love it.
Bit spooky there, boyo.
That's smart.
You
Fucking
say
an
so.
animal.
I'm not arguing with you.
So you guys beginning. How do you want to centerpiece this dead cow?
I will drag the dead cow. First, I'm going to cut the cow open a little bit to make sure that there is a good trail of blood that comes from the cow.
It's more congealed slosh at this point because it has been a couple days,
That's cool.
but there is some seepage
There we go.
from the cow.
You think we should pour some water on it to help it drain a little bit as you're dragging?
Yeah, why not? Good
I'd
enough.
always kill another cow.
That's what I was thinking about. But this guy's already lost some cow, so.
Yeah, he's already lost.
Most of his cows.
Yes.
Do I see any
Lose
sick?
the rest of them if we don't get this
Do
done.
I see any sickly looking cows or any?
Go ahead and make an
Kind of why
animal
we're
handling check.
protecting them.
Animal handling.
What?
Okay.
It's kind of why we're protecting them and trapping up the stable.
True.
14.
You do not
Trap
see any
doesn't
cows
work.
that seem especially sickly or weak.
He has no sickly or weak cows, so we'll just use what we have available, which is this dead cow.
I'm sure
Should
whatever
we
these
try to
creatures.
leave it in the middle, like just lay on the ground, or should we hang it from one of the rafters?
Are we leaving it right outside? Plus, I'm assuming these things are hungry and they'll be back anyway. They've already taken out most of the cattle. Why would they not be back for more?
It's easy when it's out in the open. It's a little harder when it's confined.
Well, he said they usually come into the stable anyway, whenever they're cold, so.
So I guess we should let's put it in the entrance. That way we have to see it when it comes and snatches it up. Or it may not, we don't know if it likes dead cow, it may want more fresh.
Either way, we have something to bring it to the stable.
Sounds like a plan. Kaze, will you be going hands this time, or will you be using the blade on your back? Or is that going to be a determining factor later?
It depends what it is.
It's a cow.
I might make my way on top of the barn. Or on top of the stable.
Okay.
To keep an eye out.
So, DMs?
Yep.
Zeke is going on top of the stables?
Try to, if there's any way for me, like a ladder or even just a way for me to climb up there, I just want to get to the top of the
Yeah,
stable.
I mean
and sit.
there's ladders because that's typically where the bays of hail are stored is up in the rafters, so you quite easily get up there.
I mean,
he's
like on
going
top of
like
the,
outside,
yeah.
on the roof.
Okay, it's quite easy. I'm trying to think of the right way to describe how it's done. essentially getting up into the rafters, there is typically in barns a small window where things are actually hoisted up or out, which you could easily climb out of and then on top of.
Okay, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna sit there with my loot and keep playing.
Okay.
I'm going to go to the rafters.
Okay. Kazi, Alen.
I'm gonna attempt to go up in the rafters too.
All right.
I guess we're all going to the rafters.
Oh, watching a monk jump down is going to be the sweetest shit in the world. Okay.
All right.
Crouching tiger.
And how are you guys presenting the dead cow?
We're just going to,
Blade.
Not what I meant by that.
Actually
Ready, go.
presenting.
I mean, are you attempting to
Take
hang
the
it up, or are
coin,
you
would ya?
attempting? Are you just leaving it on the ground? How are you?
I think we're just leaving it on the ground.
Yeah.
ground.
Apparently mutilated because it wanted to have a bloody trail. Or someone wanted to have a bloody trail.
And we'll put it about 5 feet into the barn. Like, once when you walk in, it's 5 feet and it's right there.
Okay, so you're putting it in from the front entrance or the back?
Front entrance.
Okay, that's where you have all your traps and the door is barred.
Oh. Okay, back entrance, sorry.
Okay, that's why I asked.
Back entrance.
Back entrance.
Back door?
The back entrance is the entrance we're using right
Yep.
now. We have the other one trapped, so we know something's coming from that.
So back entrance, and then I will ready in action for anything that is not Tabby or Jeb or anybody that I'm traveling with.
Okay. Well, Tabby and Jeb are in the house.
Just in case they decide to get stupid and come out.
Okay. So who wants to take first watch?
I'll take first watch.
Okay.
I'll take second, I guess.
I'll take third.
All right.
I will sleep
I need
through
all
the
three of
night.
you to go ahead and make perception checks for me.
Natural 20.
Natural 20?
10.
10?
For a
We
total.
made money from natural 20s.
For
It'd be
Eight.
a lot better than that
For
one.
a
Why do you think
total
I don't pay you guys for those?
Total of 27. My eyes are cool to win the night. I'm actually an owl, not really a human.
DMs,
Yes.
DMs, I accidentally rolled a d12.
Well, please roll a d20. We've only been playing it for
I
like
always,
2 years.
I always forget this
Good
is the
job.
first campaign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's D&D?
11.
I remember my
Okay,
first
even
time.
better.
11.
Okay, so they don't. And then the one.
Have you done either one?
Wait.
Have you done any of the one?
How about you?
Roll single digits first.
If those shield
Right.
minion teams aren't taken already.
I don't
So
even
as you
know.
guys,
Sorry.
as you guys begin to rest for the evening, Ronan,
Yes.
you keep an eye out as best you're able. Is it Ronan? I don't know why you're responding.
No, that's alright.
You keep a watch out as best you're able. And you hear kind of, it's a little bit disconcerting for you being on a farm. You're used to more being on tracking or by yourself, but you can hear the soft just, which is a little disconcerting. I don't know if the disconcertion on your face is from your character or me.
A little bit of both, comment.
A little bit of both. But you just hear kind of the soft noises that come from livestock in a farm at night. Your watch passes without incident. Eventually you go, you wake up Kazuya. And you begin to lay down to go to sleep. Kazuya.
Yes. Right person now.
You see everything.
You look out of the window and your eyes are almost beacon-like, just... you're Ignatius, essentially, again.
Yeah, great.
And just peering into the darkness.
Sparky double lights.
Shockingly, you see very well. Actually, those perception checks probably should have been a disadvantage. Because it is night. I just
Fucking do it again.
I can do it again.
Yeah, go ahead.
I rolled the exact same number.
Well, it's a lot lower, but it's still 19.
That's still very good.
19 instead of 27.
Okay. You see slightly less than you did before.
Okay.
What was yours, Zeke?
Same thing.
Okay.
Literally rolled the same damn number.
So as you're peering out, you think far off you see some rustling, some movement. You track it a little ways, but then you lose sight of it. It goes out of your field of vision. And eventually you hear. hear the traps in the front go off.
Damn.
I need everybody to go ahead and roll initiative.
Wake everybody up.
Of course, I roll good.
So for the 2.
Kind of garbage, but alright.
I disagree.
What'd you roll?
Your dice are just like, really?
For the chicken. Those traps.
13!
13.
I'll
Yeah.
start with the chair.
That was almost super awkward. I
Yeah.
saw that.
Yeah.
That was almost super
Oh,
awkward.
yeah, everything's started.
Yeah, like, eh.
Oh, I get you.
Are there any hard teams?
I think we have to go back.
Not
We
yet.
don't actually have them.
Yeah, I'll check.
We should be a hard team.
So we'll just keep that in mind.
Alright. 85, 33.
25 to 20.
The first one shields.
20 to, or 15 to 20.
19.
19.
So
Watch this.
that's what I rolled.
Wait, did you guys get the same thing too?
Mine's a +3 in modifier.
What field
'Cause
deck
you-
are we supposed to be
That
fighting?
was at the same time.
3.
and That's different.
What is your plus initiative?
3.
So the 1 is the 19.
I rolled 1 lower than him.
I rolled a 4.
You know what's funny? I rolled with your
seven.
initiative bonuses, and you roll with my initiative bonuses.
No.
Yep.
I rolled 19 for the 1.
The angsty
I rolled the
sorcery.
19 for the bottom.
I will ride these.
Sorry, we're dealing with the initiative tracker.
Yeah, I'm doing this for the first time. And then what was these?
Nani?
13.
I was gonna do that accent, but I just
Fucking-
can't.
I
I
can't.
need to
Alright.
practice.
What did you two get?
13.
13?
Both got 13.
Yep.
Correct.
You guys
Alright.
have that much bonus to your initiative?
Well, yeah. I'm plus 9.
Yeah, welcome to
He's a
Oh,
Lulu.
that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's got alert.
Welcome to Lulu. I rolled a 2 and got a 19 initiative.
Yep.
Oh shit. He's super fast and I see everything. But then
and then
eventually I will be super fast and see everything.
4.
Are your weapons attacking correctly?
Yep.
They're not +15 damage.
No, I've got plus 20,
All right.
plus 20, plus 20 on daggers. So
Okay, that's fine.
So let's go ahead and get the board out.
That actually seems a little low.
Ancient dagger.
It's an ancient dagger.
Similar to a dragon, but it's a dagger.
God.
I can respect that.
It's the pinky toe nail of the dragon.
Alright. There are minis here. Who all does not have a mini? You don't?
I cannot.
I have a backup mini.
Mine's on order, but I can.
I just need a paladin.
Can I steal one of yours?
Do you want to use Iggy?
Yeah,
Let's use
Do you
actually.
have any minis
This,
with daggers?
I just had this one earlier.
I'm gonna use that one.
Here, this is hooded.
Pass.
This
I'll
works.
use this. Thank you, though.
Thank you. Oh, yes, it does work.
I actually really need one. I didn't bring my brother's warlock.
Your choice.
He wasn't here.
These guys
He's
are all.
here.
No, he's at my house.
Do you have any musicians over there?
No.
No,
Okay, I'll just use this and then.
Muck.
That's.
Yeah, he's over there. I can see him over there.
What, this?
Yeah,
Where?
right there.
Yes.
I shot.
I'm proficient.
Where? Yeah, I don't know.
Close enough.
Yes, for now, this will work for Zeke.
I already have. I'm just using
Oh, I'm
my
sorry, I
one
didn't realize
from.
you had
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
Thank you, though.
What race is that?
Genko, I think?
Those are hooves.
I don't know.
I would assume tiefling.
So here's your dead cow.
It's a satyr.
Yeah, I had a dead cow.
It's a dead cow? Nay.
Okay. And there's these things. And that thing.
I'm a
Oops.
cow.
I
I'm a
just
dead
dropped it.
cow. Hey.
Hey, you and I got the same.
Fucking damn it.
Don't like that.
Is it down there somewhere?
I mean, it has to be, but I don't
It was until you dropped it the second time.
You won't quite like Finito. You won't quite like Finito.
So these would be over here, I would assume then, since the bait is on that side.
It's fine.
Oh, is this the other thing, or is
Yep.
this? Okay.
Alright. And Len, you're actually kicking us off.
Oh, I can? Okay. I have higher decks.
It
Yeah.
just automatically places people in order.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I didn't realize.
So, am I?
Yeah, okay.
I mean, I can go first if you want.
No, I'll wait.
Okay. Then am I still up on top of the barn? Or up on top
Yes,
of the...
you're still in the rafters.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm on top
sorry,
of
on
it.
top of the
Yeah.
barn.
How high up are we?
It would be probably about 15 foot.
Wait, no, I wouldn't because I was sleeping. He woke us all up, so I would have been in the rafters. I'm sorry.
If you want to be on top of the roof, that's fine.
I don't want to be
It's
sleeping
up
on
to
top
you.
of the roof. That makes
Okay.
me scared.
So you guys are just all awoken by a very loud snap, which means you guys, currently the three of you, are prone because you have been sleeping. Also, because you're sleeping, you guys are not currently wearing armor.
Can I use my action to don my armor?
Armor takes a little bit longer than 6 seconds to put on.
It's a piece of leather. But yeah, that's fine. All right.
It's okay. That just adds 1 to my AC unless.
Same. That's
I don't wear armor. Ha 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 ha.
Monks!
Ha ha.
Which race?
I will say, I don't know, you think
Without armor?
light armor?
19.
I was thinking,
Oh shit.
Mm,
You're a
It's up to you.
dog.
I'm a monk. Ooh. Fiddlesticks gameplay. New Fiddlesticks gameplay.
since we heard it from the direction where the doors were barred off. The window to get out onto the roof, is that facing the same direction as the barred door?
Yes.
I'm gonna look out the window.
All right. So you run over, poke your head down, and you see. Sorry, did you make a decision on that?
Light armor takes a minute.
Okay. Got it.
I was thinking
all
no.
combat
I was
rules.
since it's light armor. Do you think they could have slept in
I
it?
don't know what happened to all the cows. They just died.
Yeah. And I'm just dead on the
So
floor.
poking your head out the window, you see two flesh-covered beings what look much like the size of chickens, and a taller one in the middle. They appear to all be snagged by the bear traps because not a fucking one of them could avoid it.
Looks like we caught ourselves some prey. And I am going
You just
to...
hear, you guys all currently hear.
I'm going to shoot at the one of the smaller ones with my crossbow.
All right, go ahead and take go ahead and make an attack.
That's a natural 20.
It's a natural 20. Go ahead and roll those percentage dice for me.
40.
40.
It was 30 something, but I rolled a 10 on the other
Okay.
die, so 40.
I would point that as the arrow pushing, not because it's not a melee attack. But. So as you aim down, take a shot, and there's actually so much force behind it that it would, I should say, cause it to be like pushed back, stagger back a few steps. However, as it starts to, the trap actually is still clamped tightly around its foot, keeping it from moving. But still, all of a sudden, go ahead and roll your damage.
Of course I roll a 1. But were we doing the
Yes.
crit damage from last?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so add the max die damage.
12. So that's 12 piercing.
So you take aim. The bolt hits it and it basically explodes into a congealed mess of flesh and just moves.
Got one of them. And that's my turn.
Right. Go ahead and move the one in the center there off the board, please. Yes, that one. All right.
Lan
Yeah, no, that's weird.
gonna follow his lead.
Okay.
And go out on the roof, and then he's going to cast Eldritch Blast.
Say it, Warlock.
Say it. I'm saying it.
Eldritch Blast.
Eldritch Blast.
Did you want to take any of those first round?
Okay.
Not bad.
18.
Give it a shot.
Yes.
Jesus,
18
your
more
modifier's
than
good.
that. Are you shooting at the smaller one?
Yeah. For 1 force damage.
Okay.
One's
We
on the
both
damage
rolled
tonight.
1, yeah.
Bonus action, tentacle smacking.
You gonna summon your tentacle?
So tentacle rips up the ground.
Just an appropriate piece for a tentacle.
What does your Eldritch Blast look like?
Those are actually what I was originally going to use for tentacles.
Free tentacle.
Oh.
Oh, either way.
Yeah, those were the minis that I brought that I was going to use for my tentacles.
That's gonna pop up right there. And it, my Eldritch Blast, I just put my hand on my book, on my hip, and then I just point my palm at it, and you just see a dark substance. Go ahead, force.
Okay. So you see that.
Does it look like a sea-created substance?
No,
Oh,
Words.
it's more black, shadowy.
gotcha.
Like just scroll it. Just flavor text kind of thing.
In the future, yeah.
Just thought it was cool. It's flavor text kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Says
Yeah, then attack with that.
whack.
19 plus 26.
To hit.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah.
that's a fuck ton of damage even for the tentacle.
Okay, and for damage, it is 2 cold damage.
You guys cannot roll high tonight.
No, maximum of 3 and 2 hits.
So you see Lan put his hand forth, and one hand on his book, and a purplish stream of energy streaks forth. The chicken seems to have taken notice of the other one exploding from the crossbow bolt, and actually opens its mouth and eats the Eldritch Blast.
Did it seem like it hurt it?
It did.
That's
The-
spooky.
The tentacle then streaks forth from the ground and smacks the shit out of the chicken. And what kind of damage was it?
That's gonna be lightning.
Okay, so then now you see the electrified chicken sort of dazed in its state.
And
yeah.
its speed is reduced by 10 feet until my next turn.
Good to know.
Okay. I don't think I can mark that down, so I'll just
Nah,
have
you
to
just
remember it.
How does it feel?
Whack.
Whack. Okay. One of these creatures does seem to be different from the other. It almost looks like a mutated goblin that spent a little too much time in the sewers, maybe? You're not sure?
I think
Are-
we should stay up here. I don't want to go down there. That's gross.
All of you are
I
up
second
on top of the...
Yes.
Us two are on the roof.
Okay. And those two are down with them?
No, they're in the rafters.
Everybody's in the
They just
rafters
haven't
right now.
gone
They're peering out of the window.
So
Okay.
we're. I guess.
I'm sorry. I know it's weird.
We would be like right here, and
The one closest to me. Yep.
and right here, I guess. Just looking through the.
But we're like up in the rafters. Yeah.
Okay. It's going to attempt to escape from the trap. What's the DC you set for the trap?
13.
Doesn't make it.
So you guys see it just kind of pulling and yanking.
The goblin thing?
Yes.
That was not a chicken sound.
I'd be a little worried if that was a chicken sound.
Simultaneously, guys, you're bonk.
Jack?
It's just. That made me think of like a ghetto chicken, just bonk.
I was thinking of Jack.
Oh.
Balk.
Ball.
The other
It's an
chicken
extension cord.
is going to try and break the trap instead of break
Okay.
free from it.
I'm just trying to help. I know what you are.
So it
Should I
looks.
say an 8 because it's a weak trap?
So you could say it looks down and goes peck.
Oh, I was thinking.
Oh, to hit.
Yeah. Probably only like 5.
It outwardly actually says peck.
They're called literal chickens.
The title of the creature. That's pretty crazy.
So
Not break the trap.
you see it just fervently, just almost headbutting the trap, attempting to break it. It
Peck.
does some damage, but back.
Whack.
It's peck.
Alright.
Wow,
Now,
that chicken
Kazuya
sounds
is
manly.
Did Ronan jump down? Or am I?
You
Yeah,
may
I don't
do
have
that.
shoes on.
You want to go first? I'll go first.
You
Alright.
go first, Mom.
Because I'm up in the rafters and I don't have armor on. But
Yeah,
I
you're,
still-
you're not, well, you're not knackered, but
I still
He's a
have my-
little bit.
he's a little knackered.
I probably just have my pants and boots on, but no top part.
No top, no plate.
But I have my longbow, so I'm going to from the raptors shoot my longbow.
Okay. Go ahead and make your attack roll.
At the smaller one or a bigger one?
I'll take the bigger one.
Take the bigger one.
Yeah, I'll take the bigger one.
Take the big boy.
That is a. Oh, I don't have
A D6 attack set to the trap.
All right, that's 14 damage.
Nope, it's got 1.
The dagger.
Then we'll
it. That is 18 hit.
18 will hit.
18 hits. Okay. And then that will be 1d8. So familiar.
Did you roll a 1?
You fucking call it.
Roll those percentage
That's
dice.
3
No,
1.
no, I rolled 1 point of damage.
Damage.
But with my modifier, it is 5 points of
Okay.
piercing damage.
That's hilarious.
So we've all rolled a 1 on
We all
damage.
rolled a 1 on damage.
Break the curse.
I plan on
I
it.
rolled a 2 in damage. in my thing.
And yeah, I'm just gonna. That's it.
Okay.
The goblin takes the shot in the knee and sort of gives out a scream, and he's still struggling with that trap, man, but
Okay.
you got a good hit on him.
Alright. Great. I'm going to jump down.
All right. Go ahead and make an acrobatics check for me.
Did you natural 1? What the
What
fuck?
the fuck?
What is happening
That's
tonight?
the second hour.
Or today?
My legs.
I jump off the barn.
He just swan dive.
Swan. He tried the Ezio jump.
I was gonna say you heard like the call in the background and everything.
Then just miss. Cool. So,
And then he king DDDs.
land. Where's the... Take 6 points of damage,
Great.
Wow, that's a healthy hit.
More damage than we did on him.
Yeah.
and you are now prone.
Great. Cool. Ow.
What did it sound?
A lot of pride.
Wrong voice.
Here's your emo hit the ground.
Great.
There's a mix between the NES and original.
I heard something emo hit the ground. Weeb.
Your Warforged is showing.
Great. Cool.
Edo Kakra.
I'm gonna stand up.
Okay, half movement, stand up.
Yep. Cool. Which one looks the most hurt?
You.
That would be the little one.
Great. I'm just gonna fucking just go. Fuck. Throw a dart at it.
All right, good. Make an attack roll. So you see Kazuya just old man.
That's fucking better.
Underhanded
that
dart.
is, Math. 24 to hit.
He just needs to
24
get
hits?
sleep out of his eyes, that's all, guys. He just needs to sleep out.
Come on.
Wake up, the creatures are. What?
One damage.
What the fuck with you guys?
So we all rolled 1 damage.
That's a total of 5.
Holy sh!
That's right.
I can't believe we all rolled 1 for damage.
Level 1.
Level 1.
That's just bad, because I was rolling a D8. He rolled a D10 and a D8.
I rolled a D4.
He rolled a D8. You rolled a D4. That Jesus, what is happening?
Look, you guys don't have to prove yourselves incapable, though, right?
I fell. Give me some.
You have a reason.
I fall and I can't get up.
I'm glad I at least critted that one, because that at least did something.
Yeah, the crit was the crit.
Yeah,
still did,
that was still a
that's
healthy
the
chunk of
whole reason we
damage.
do crits that way.
Yeah.
Alright.
Great.
Anything else?
So you still hit the shit out of it. When you got up and threw the dart, it actually went through the chicken's throat.
Oh fuck.
And now you just see black ichor just pouring from it.
Oh,
Gross.
disgusting.
That brings us back to the top of the round.
What did you jump down and back like?
Or am I gonna go first again?
Oh yeah, you
Head
go
over
first.
tea
Yeah.
kettle. That's over tea kettle.
I'm gonna look out at the goblin creature and just start mumbling and whispering to myself and use dissonant whispers on it so it hears the mumbling and whispering.
Okay. What is the save for that?
15 wisdom.
Oh.
You will regret your existence.
So So you see the magic words slowly embrace it and take over as its eyes slightly roll back into its head.
It has to attempt to use its free action to get as far away from me as possible.
Okay.
I know what you said to it. I know what you whispered to it.
I was going to make the I am your father joke, so I'm glad you interrupted that.
I appreciate that.
That's what
Land.
you whispered.
It does damage.
Oh, I apologize. I was...
Dissonant Whispers does
It's a new
3d6.
spell.
What is it?
Dissonant Whispers,
It's from the acquisitions book, I believe.
No, but how many? What does it do?
3d6.
Oh wow!
On a failed
that a
save,
roll
it takes 3d6. Yeah. On a failed save, it takes 3d6 psychic and must immediately use its reaction if available to move as far as its speed allows away from you.
Okay.
It's trapped though, isn't it?
It's still
Yeah.
going to try.
Oh, it's gonna walk it down.
Who needs a leg?
Wow, that's a lot of damage. Now that's a lot of damage. So 13 psychic damage. Well, I rolled a 6, 4, 3.
6, 4, 3, come back on the beat.
That actually
You see
hit
as
really
its
hard.
eyes roll back in its head, it starts to panic and freak out and just tug on its leg as hard as it can. It actually rips its own leg off in an attempt to get out of the bear trap and just bleeds out there on the floor.
Yep.
That,
All right. I'm gonna be like, ugh.
What did you say to it? What did you say to it?
I said I would regret its existence.
It did.
I'm not really sure. It's not that bad. There may have been a little bit of magic involved.
Ah, okay. Well, I'm going back to sleep.
Oh, there's still a chicken.
alive.
Oh, okay.
You can still go back.
I'm just gonna go. You guys got this.
Leave it there in the trap.
Bonus action thwack.
It looks very, very
Why'd you
hurt,
turn
but
over
it's
his
still
tentacle?
alive.
Oh, is that his tentacle?
Yeah, the other one, the dead one, was removed from the
No, the
board.
tentacle falls over.
I just thought that was the goblin.
That was that's the goblin.
13 to hit.
Which one's still alive?
That's still a little
You
chicken.
don't even have to roll damage.
Yeah, there were two
It
chickens.
doesn't matter what you roll.
Oh, okay.
Of course,
That's
I
the one
rolled
you hit with the dart.
Nah, you rolled a 7.
Gotcha.
That's
So
right.
how
That's
do you
I
wanna
almost
do
did.
this?
The tentacle is gonna wrap around it, and then it's gonna just disappear into the ground with it.
So you see the tentacle
That's fucking cool.
almost cracking in Pirates of the Caribbean style, just and just like 3-4 times wrap itself around the body, and all of a sudden the portal beneath the ground opens up and the tentacles slowly sink as the chicken just as it's just dragged down into the abyss.
I appreciate your chicken noises.
Thank you. And I think that's where we'll go ahead and take a break. So we're going to be back, guys. We'll be back in about 10-15 minutes. We're just going to go ahead
Where'd you
and
take that chicken? That's a bit spooky.
break down on that.
In the northeast corner of the world lies the kingdom of Tera'tun. It is a varied land full of lords and ladies, where your word and your vow are given out with greater care than gold and silver. There are a total of 16 different lands, each with a main hold and with several bannermen who are loyal to them. While some of the lands are larger or richer than others, each carries a great history and prestige with it. Dark and difficult to traverse, the dark swamps are a wild and murky land. Here, beings such as the furbolgs and turtles do well and thrive in the natural swampy land. The majority of beings in these swamps have to build, work hard, and adapt fast in order to survive. However, given the circumstance that led to the acquiring of the dark swamps, most who live here hold it in very high esteem. Any who can make it in these lands for a full year are considered to be made of sterner stuff, and respected by those who know physical battle. Lord Wilhelm was gifted the swamps by the Lord of the Riverwood family at the time, when he helped root out and destroy the last of the traitor Alistair family, who held the swamps at that time. He has been determined to make something of them ever since, and to end up in his good graces is considered exceedingly difficult. Dragon Tongue is a harsh land with extremely sharp, rocky ground that's difficult to traverse for anyone who is not an extremely seasoned traveler or familiar with the terrain. To make matters worse, the land has several fissures that spread across the ground that are suspected to be part of a large lake of lava just beneath the surface. Regardless, it is always extremely hot here and can exhaust those unused to such conditions. As such, those who live here are hard and battle-ready by and large. Most everyone born here is either a hunter or a gatherer, as food and fresh water are difficult to come by. That considered, those who are able to cast magic are held in high reverence here. The lands are currently led by a red dragonborn warrior who goes by Spark. He is extremely suspicious of outsiders, and it can be difficult to gain his favor if he feels slighted. However, if his culture is respected, and he feels he is being treated with the same respect as any other lord, he can be kind enough to visit it. Galat is often considered to be the sole honest kingdom left in Tera'tun. It is run by the Light family, and the only place where no vengeance or war is allowed to be waged. The Light family spends much of their time attempting to make things equal, whether it hurts their own forces or not, believing in equality and justice above all else. The land itself is very fair, with a lake in the middle that is always perfect for swimming or sailing. Upon the island in the middle is Dragomors, a large hall with a grand table, capable of seating over 40 individuals that are all able to be heard in equal measure by a process of a spell within its walls. The Licht family tends to look down on forms of bootlicking. Gifts and compliments might bring disdain if you are not already a friend of the family. However, good deeds and an honest reputation can put one in good graces before having even met them. Lord Kanan is an adventurous lad, recently turned 14, and desperate to prove that despite his young age, he is a capable leader and warrior. He is often kind to royals who treat him as an equal. However, if he feels mocked or made less of, he can grow to be hot-headed. The Kragnag Range is a series of cities within the shadow of a vast mountain range, boasting several expensive gems and ore. Many hope to retire within its territory because of the low-cost economy and breathtaking landscapes. However, within the past few decades, there has become a growing unrest between the majority of the workers and the ruler of the Kragnag Range. While there are a number of dangerous creatures within the confines of the land, there is a skilled god presence who are capable warriors. It is home to many of the dwarves within the land of Tera'tun, but is in fact not run by a dwarf. It is run by Ares Evier. Ares is now an old man, grown fat and lazy on his throne, and is a master manipulator. Still, he is increasingly distracted with his distant cousin's romantic inclines towards William Hart, a scrappy soldier in his army who has a habit of ignoring orders he finds stupid. Evier often enjoys receiving expensive gifts, but is extremely hard to actually gain his trust. The Lost Islands are a series of islands in the northwest corner of the world, often cold and windy. It is most well known as being the burial site for most of those in Tera'tun, consisting of hundreds of thousands of tombs and crypts. It is largely enchanted to ensure that necromantic practices and experiments are not performed on those who rest here. There are a few housesteads, such as the Kaporis Hall to the north. However, in general, it is a very quiet place, built for people to safely mourn and visit those who have moved on. Some say that the island is cursed or blessed, but most just consider it a place of rest. The Colwell family is very old and currently ruled by Lady Evelyn, who is very interested in unique weaponry and watches over her islands, much like a hawk, keeping an eye out for those who might seek to perform evil deeds. She is well known for her unique whip-like blade. Home to the more skilled farmers and horse lords of Tera'tun, Lothel is a land full of long, tall fields and gently sweeping hills. It is a home to many who prefer to work hard as opposed to having a cushy lifestyle. The people here are generally honest and caring, and they have little patience for politics or legal issues, preferring to let common decency and the law of equality run things over controlling government. There is some concern among the locals over the Coral Hunt, which is a long, winding cavern full of strange monsters and beings. However, many of the young men consider it a rite of passage to track down one of these monsters through the hills and kill it when they reach adolescence. Lothel is currently run by Christina Woodway, who is made particularly famous for helping drive back the monsters that inhabited Tugenia. She is said to be a wonderful horse rider and capable fighter. As such, she and her horsemen are considered exceptionally dangerous anywhere where horses can maneuver easily. It is said there is no mount alive that can match a Lothelian steed. Covered in strange, dark clouds that persist even on a sunny summer afternoon, Nyanetta is considered to be a safe haven for any who have goals and ideals they'd rather were not made known in public. However, that being said, the Talma family usually has little patience for anything that would cause large-scale pain or damage to the common man. As such, there is a mutual respect amongst any who do business within the country. Any attempt at robbery or poor dealing can be made punishable by death. Many who spend their lives in the shadows or look to get lost choose Nyanetta. However, if another kingdom is chasing you down for past crimes, they may refuse to accept you. Currently, they are ruled by Lord Neldor, and while he certainly has strong principles, it can be hard to tell exactly what he does or does not find acceptable, and seemingly random things can set him off even to the point of occasionally attacking someone. Obsidian, the small island kingdom, sits in the shadow of the nearby earthen plain and is full of people who prefer an adventurer's life, and those who would dare to take the paths less traveled for promises of adventure or treasure. The people there do have to work hard, with everyone being expected to pull his or her own weight to help keep everything running. But whatever fever may grip them, or whatever quest they may wish to take, they are encouraged to do so. It is also said to be a very wealthy land, with many spending time among the path of fire, daring to walk the burning coals to prove themselves, though no one ever seemingly returns from this venture. As such, visitors can sometimes be put off by the seemingly odd life of the islanders. They are somewhat slow to trust, but are willing to share what they have with the often exhausted and sea-tired adventurers that reach their land. Obsidian is currently ruled by Lord Roderick, and he is in favor of working with the other kingdoms, especially the Lost. This has given them a set of powerful ships, said to be some of the strongest in the world, often bearing crews of 200 or so men and women. Rage of the Gods is said to primarily consist of a large island in the middle of a lake of lava. Many of the older generation give respect to the legendary Dragon of the Magma River, said to spread throughout the entire kingdom. However, many nowadays do not believe in these rumors centered around this supposed dragon. The dwarves who have been running the land for over 400 years swear by its divine powers, and there may be something to it as they breed unrivaled warriors. Strength and power rule strong here, and a man who is capable in battle is often more respected than somebody who has a full coin purse. Of course, you can recognize talent and hold your drink, it certainly won't hurt. The Rage of the Gods is currently helmed by Lord Barshon, who spends most of his days in Archdale as opposed to Maryport, preferring to pray most of his days and problems to the Dragon of the Magma River. Founded by the oft-thought insane goblin Garrot, Sapphire Shores is flowing with liquid magic and set on a beautiful chains of islands and beaches. Sapphire Shores is home to many new and untested forms of magic, not readily available to those who study in the rest of the world. Therefore, the Lord made two Warforged and transfigured his own son Wix into a Verdin, a fate shared by a few of the goblins who lived in the City of Glass. As such, many don't really know what to think of Sapphire Shores, and it has become something of a haven for both freaks and those who appreciate the beautiful and the odd. Many think of themselves as more advanced or accepting than the other lands, and many beings such as tieflings or goblins find an odd acceptance from the locals provided they don't break its laws. Still, even in the course of the law, it is a very forgiving and understanding land. Lord Wix, who is extremely physically changeable, is a mix of a fun jest and a symbol of acceptance for his people. Wix spends much of his time out and about among the locals, often focusing his time with the younger children or adventurous creators on the land. There is no guard presence here, rather the locals form watches all their own and protect one another. If you are there, you are considered family. The Shadowed Forest is a kingdom consisting of huge, sprawling woods for which it was named, and saved by a set of Tabaxi brothers. It is now a considerably hostile and dangerous place after the wild Trent betrayed and killed Lord Ice 12 years ago. While those outside the forest are able to live a normal life during the daylight hours, they must spend their nights vigilantly on watch and wary of evil creatures that may set upon the towns. Those within the forest itself have it even harder, often having to rely on liberal uses of the alarm spell, not to be surprised in the middle of the night. However, those that live here see their efforts as noble, protecting the rest of the world from the darkness of the night. Lord Snow holds his father's murder against the forest itself, and the hostile attitude he holds against it has hurt the local trade. However, the Lord is not alone in his anger, as much of the locals mourn the loss of the Tabaxi Lord they had over a decade ago. The Shattered Ice is a frozen tundra. Once rumored to have properly belonged to the frozen wasteland of the water plane, it is now a collection of villages and stone towers that were built to withstand the frigid temperatures. Those who live here are either more comfortable in the cold and recluse, or hope to utilize the cold in some way. While many creatures do poorly in such frigid temperatures, there are those creatures who revel in the lower temperatures, and they provide a very real danger to any who get lost in the wilderness. It is ruled by a strong family of orcs who believe in either the trial of blood or banishment as a punishment. It seems harsh, but it means that grudges and slights are forgotten fairly quickly. Despite the harsh punishments present, Lord Mackinac is an uncommonly caring orc, often seeing to the care of smaller villages or families before taking care of himself. He's also an extremely skilled warrior, rumored to fight polar bears unarmed and unarmored. A strange land, once holding a great fortress, and now a collection of broken and jagged pillars standing out against the surrounding area. The Shattered Isles are often suspect for those who travel here, and is neither a pleasant land nor a wealthy one. It is dark and hard, favored by those who can go nowhere else. its greatest achievement is not actually due to the lords at all, rather the family of dwarfs to the north of the kingdoms who forge ships and cargo to be traded for the island's income. Much mystery surrounds the ruling family of the Kenku, due in no small part to their peculiar method of speech. Silent and often thought of as cold, Lord Catskall is caring to his subject, but extremely difficult to talk to without being examined and made uncomfortable. As such, many people prefer never having to meet the bird-like being. A huge and sprawling metropolis, and easily the envy of many places around the world, the tower is a bustling and busy place, where any number of beings and races and skill sets are found. As such, it is a haven for those who function well in crowds, or like to disappear in a group. No one is considered out of place in the tower, because everything is so unusual already. Beings performing odd actions or talking to nothing are relatively commonplace. Bands and minstrels exist everywhere, and even shady shopkeepers and street musicians are commonly found. The Riverwood family, currently run by the very proud Lord Marcus, oversees the kingdom of Tera'tun as a whole, in addition to the tower. As such, it is common to see the Evier family helping out, considering that Lady Alyssa was an Evier before marrying into the family. The Wild Woods are a strange and magical place. Many who feel the pull of the arcane like to spend time in this place, save for the wizards, who prefer to study at the tower or the Unbroken. There are a great number of fey creatures here, and the leaves eternally rise instead of fall. Many claim the forest to have traveled to Tera'tun straight from the Fey Wilds, although no one can properly explain how that might have happened, and has become home to a great many of the elves who appreciate the woods or their own kind over the stone cities of men. It is currently run by Lord Harold, who spends much of his time attempting to repair the relationships between the Bronwyns and the rest of town.
Welcome back to The Natural One. Hope you guys enjoyed your break. I know we did. We got to do a whole bunch of things. Anyway, so
I want to see the evolution of the beard.
we got a comment pointing out that our face cams are the evolutions of the beards.
It is. It really is.
Fantastic.
It's funny. It's awesome.
Is there a way we could like take a screenshot of that? Because I kind of want to see it. Or I can look at the video later. It's all good.
Yeah, or I can take a screenshot afterwards. Either way. Well, you guys are seeing it right now.
You'll see it on the upload anyway.
That's
Yeah,
what
exactly.
I was saying. Yeah, I'll just see it later.
So, for sake of brevity, after you guys meet back up with Tabby, you guys are paid your 40 gold. He offers you a place to sleep, finish sleeping for the night, I should say, if you would so like.
I wouldn't mind sleeping on a bed and not a beam and a rafters and a
I'd also
barn.
rather not
Then I'll
try to travel.
travel at night. Yeah,
We'll take you up on that offer.
we appreciate it, Tabby.
So he leads you to a room, or he leads you to 2 rooms, both of which have a king bed inside.
Okay.
Well, I don't mind bunking up with one of you fellow lads.
Hop in.
I guess that's
I guess we'll bunk up.
Me and you, Kazia.
I'm
Roll
not
for
sleeping in a bed
spooning.
with him, I know that.
How tall is Kazia?
6'3".
Oh, damn it, I'm gonna spoon. I think I've been looking for
Really
an
wants to sleep next to
every
the guy.
You will
campaign
sleep
with
head
you.
to foot. It's fine.
Head to foot,
Inch
yes.
difference. I'm an inch taller than you.
Head to foot, head to foot.
Head to foot.
Head to foot.
There's no way for the...
Shut up.
Thank you, Scrubs. So,
At least it's not rich.
as you guys drift off to sleep in the early hours of the morning, Kazia,
Yes?
middle of the night, you feel a cold presence.
Okay, I promise you, I'm sleeping away from you, so you don't feel that.
It's
Big ol' elven wiener.
You now have coronavirus.
Wash your hands, guys.
Purell, man.
Okay.
Wash your hands, drink plenty of
You can
water.
fucking afford it now.
Plenty of room temperature
As you
water.
wake up, you see the door to your room is open.
I'll get up and investigate it. Wait, can I look around the room first?
Go ahead and make a perception check.
Thing of note.
24.
I don't know. How much do you know about elves? Like your character.
Probably a good amount.
You would know that I don't sleep in a trance like most elves. I sleep full 8 hours like a person.
Wait, you trans? You're half elf, aren't you? Okay.
Yeah, half elf strength.
Okay. 24.
So she makes
24.
me the lazy person.
That's fine.
I know the cameras work. You do not see anything unusual in your room.
Because I'm definitely
Okay.
a very bar attending elf.
Are we upstairs?
Yes.
Okay. I will go downstairs.
As you head downstairs, you see that a lantern is lit in the kitchen. And Tevi is sitting at the table. There is an open bottle of wine and 2 glasses.
His wine.
I'll walk up and, what do you do?
Spending some time trying to clear my head, as it were.
Oh my god, it is.
Pours the second glass of wine. Gestures towards the seat.
Fine. Sit down. What's troubling you?
Well, the boy came to me earlier. And don't get me wrong, as grateful as I am for you and your friend's help, pointed out to me you have very unusual eyes.
What of it?
Hoping it doesn't sound rude, but how old are you?
Around my 30s. Give or take a few years.
So you were alive on the last moonless night.
What of it?
Only that, as stories say, people with your eyes didn't exactly have a good time.
No, they did not.
It was my understanding most of your kind were either dead or rounded up.
As far as I know, there's 2 of us left. There'll soon be 1 of us left.
And you're
Brother.
all right, I mean.
Fine.
Well, let me put it more bluntly then. Are you dangerous to us? And by us, I mean people.
Not unless you get in my way.
It's fair enough. Well, I think I've taken enough of your time. Enjoy your evening.
Thanks for the wine. I'll take one little sip and put it down.
You are typically a big drinker, or even somebody that takes an appreciation of finer things. This wine is uncommonly good, even by the standards of a farmer.
This must have cost you a pretty penny.
You have no idea.
Go back upstairs.
You're able to return to your sleep without incident.
Ronan,
Angsty party.
as you drift off to sleep, you find yourself and all of your companions in what looks at first to be a dark room. You really can't see your hand in front of your face, so you decide to light up your blade. The light is not as bright as you thought it would initially be, as it begins to be swallowed up by darkness. You can see, however, that all of your companions are on the ground, chained to the floor. You see your little brother Talon in front of you, hand outstretched, as a chain sickle is wrapped around him as he gets pulled into the darkness, kicking and screaming. What do you do? get up, you find that both your arms and legs are chained as well.
I will attempt to break the chains.
Okay. Make a strength check for me.
Let's go Celestial. 8.
These chains, although they look like iron, you get the sense that they're made of something far more dark. They're not man-made. As you struggle and try to get to your little brother, you feel a presence loom over you. You've never felt it before. You've never had any of these kinds of dreams before, but you've heard Talon talk about them. As the presence looms over you, you hear this. As you begin to open your mouth to say something in response, you wake up in the dead of the night in a cold sweat.
Has he returned yet?
He would have returned at this
Your cuddle buddy is there.
point. You roll over. Pull
I
it
prefer a
closer.
security blanket.
However you want to justify it.
Do you judge our weird relationship?
Emo is as emo does.
Is there a window in this room?
There's what it is.
Yes.
Is the moon out?
The
Actually,
first moon
yes.
is yes.
Let me. I believe I have this set up right. If I can find it.
And this room has 2 king beds? Like everybody's in this room?
No, no, there's 2 rooms, both
Okay,
with a king
okay.
bed.
Sorry to disappoint you, but you don't have access to me.
There you go.
And this is the cursed one, right? The red one?
Well, a cursed night refers to at least 3 of the moons being new
Alright, so
or dark. Each moon carries a different meaning. The red moon carries meaning for battle, the blue for intelligence, the green for wealth, and the purple for love.
so we have 2 moons that are dark and 3 of the moons are dark?
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
Do we know which moon is dark?
Yeah, you, I mean,
Or
you can see,
which moon is not dark?
yeah, you can see the colors.
Okay.
This is what you see, actually.
Okay. I'm going to attempt to pray to my deity.
Okay. Go ahead and make a religion check.
Uh, 14. No. 16.
There is a soft whooshing sound in your mind. A gentle embrace. Almost feels like wind rustling through tree leaves. And it puts in your mind an image of deep pastures. Not unlike where you are, only there's a definite tinge to the vision. You see purple fields and feel a sense of peace and patience.
Betcha, I suppose. Kazi, I know you're up.
What do you want?
Was I saying anything in my sleep?
Was he saying anything in his sleep?
He was tossing and turning, not saying anything in particular. It was pretty unintelligible.
Looked like you were having a nightmare.
I'm going to then. Thank you.
First time for that?
This is my first time of having a dream like that.
Of that one in particular, yes. I've heard Talon talk about having similar dreams.
This is the first one I've experienced, yes. It looks like both of us are looking for something in particular now.
I'm sure we'll find them eventually.
All will be revealed.
Lan, in the middle of the night, you sleep.
I was gonna say, really?
I'm sorry, it was just everyone was sitting there. It was a moment, I couldn't let it pass.
No, that was good.
You guys awaken in the morning, fully restored, spell slots given back to you, all that fun stuff.
I put my armor on.
Put your armor, you put your clothes
Armor
back
is
on.
going back on.
Welcome to sleeping in the middle of the night.
Well, they wouldn't know.
For future reference, the way I think we'll handle that is if you are currently on watch, you have your armor. But if you're sleeping, you do not.
Okay.
That makes sense.
But you guys awaken, you hear roosters crowing, the livestock is beginning to move around, and you see that both Tabby and Jav are already out of the house and beginning their workday.
I'm gonna help.
Abyssal roosters.
I'm gonna help Ronan move the carcass out of the barn.
Yeah, the one you guys left there all night? Okay. There is a congealed mess beneath where the body lay.
It's like you cut up the corpse or something.
And there you can see that maggots are starting to infest the body at this point. It's beginning to rot rather poorly.
I'm helping with mage hand.
Okay.
10 pounds of health.
I was about to say, you pushed 10 pounds of a cow.
Did you get close to the goblin at all?
No.
Creature?
I don't think any of us did.
No, you got the closest,
No,
and
I
that
mean,
was like
when
15
you're
feet.
moving this
Oh.
as of right now.
That was on the opposite side of the barn.
Depends on the range of mage hand. I would be maxing out that range because I would be near 30 feet.
You do see that there is a green miasma emanating from the goblin.
Oh,
Run, go ahead and make a strength check for me.
steering clear of it.
Stand clear of it.
We got paid.
Miasma.
I'm ready to get back home.
Run, go ahead and make a
Ready
strength
on
check
our
for me.
journey.
Gotta go check in with Kashi, see if he's got our boat ready.
Is that strength?
Yes. To push a cow.
Okay.
Basically single-handedly.
Do we see what's happening with that goblin?
Yes.
It's pretty public. Or pretty easily spotted, I should say.
It's like slowly wafting or like emanating.
When you killed it, it was just spewing. Now it's just slowly dissipating. Yes.
Okay.
In about a 10 to 15 foot radius.
So you and Lan push against the side of this cow, which slides a little. What the fuck is there? Who put the brakes on the cow? It just doesn't really move.
Do you have any magic for this land?
No, I do not.
I'd say at this point he should be used to cleaning up carcasses, seeing how over his half his livestock were killed. Why don't we just continue on our way?
Yeah, this was here the whole time. Let's go.
Tabby comes over. It's all right. I know how to do this. You see, him put his shoulder into it. And I can't do it when people are watching.
Then we shall sort ourselves out. Let's be on our way.
Did we get paid yet?
Yes, we already got paid. Everyone should have gotten tingled.
Stay away from the others. The other thing. Until that smoke clears.
Not really intending to go near it.
Not our problem. Let's go.
Fuck out of this form.
Thank you, Tabby. We'll be seeing
Thank you.
I'm gonna walk up. I'm gonna shake Tabby's hand.
Shakes your hand.
Happy to help. Have a good one. And I'm just gonna start walking down the road.
So for the sake of brevity, after another about hour of travel or so, you guys managed to find yourself back in Demonius Hall. And just, it's not quite as festive as it was when you guys were last here. A few of the attractions and everything that were there yesterday have gone away, but there's still multiple stands, multiple people walking to and fro. Just different people catcalling, attempting to draw you into their establishments, as it may be.
Well, I'm used to people catcalling me, but not for.
Should we go talk with your friend?
Go check up on Kashi, see if he's got our boat ready. Aye.
I'm just gonna kind of venture around about the town.
Okay. Anything in particular?
Just sightseeing.
All right.
We're gonna head back to the broken bed.
All right. As you guys head back into the broken bed, it is a little more subdued than it was the previous day, but still a fair number of people, maybe about a half dozen or so, outside of the staff, are drinking and just laughing together, sharing stories. Kashi is, as always, the center of attention, bragging about, in particular, an adventure involving him managing to essentially makeshift sailboat his way to land from the center of a destroyed boat in the ocean.
Do I believe him?
Use a
Go
bunch
ahead
of
and make an
turtles
insight check.
again.
I don't know what it is with me today, man.
Oh man.
He's
I
rolling
think it might be
poo.
that die.
Yep. Pulled a trigger.
Wow.
Natural 20.
I watched that happen.
He is lying out his ass.
Just drop a bunch of turtles to get together again.
I got back.
Did you make it with rope from your back hair?
This seems oddly personal.
Just
I,
curious on how one would do this.
I don't really want to talk about it. You see him just instantly begin drinking heavier.
How's that boat coming along?
That is coming along splendidly. I have one of the finest ships I could have for you on such short notice, but I think it'll serve your purpose as well.
So it's ready now.
Yes, I have it docked up near the harbor, actually.
I'd like to go check it out.
Well, follow me then. He begins leading you through the streets. You can definitely see, just due to his leg, he's having difficulty walking. He doesn't appear to be quite as drunk as he was yesterday, though. Ronan, as you're walking through the streets, just kind of idly taking a look around, you pass by some of the higher up sections in town where you can see people are wearing finer silks and robes and things of that nature.
Yes.
It's an area where
Are you following us?
commoners and travelers and mercenaries really don't get to see very often. This is typically reserved for nobles and members of court and things of that regard, or traders who are particularly well off. As you're passing by that area, you feel a hearty slap on the back and a woman's voice laughing in your ear. You always did want to look at stuff you couldn't have.
Cassandra,
You know, I fucking hate that name.
why did I not figure you would be here?
Well, maybe because I'm always out stealing all your kills.
Stealing? I wouldn't say that. Letting you have? This seems more appropriate for you.
Oh, well, you let me have this fine beastie here, and she pulls out what appears to be a lion's head.
Oh, that's cute. I was doing that when I was 13.
Weren't you?
Good for you, though. No, what are you doing here, though? I haven't seen you in ages.
Well, I had a bit of business and a bounty which took me down in this area of town.
Would they have you knock off the lion?
They had me... The lion was involved, yes.
What else?
Well, on the way down, I actually ran into a small encampment of bandits,
Oh,
causing a bit of trouble for travelers on the road, that sort of thing. Not anymore, but...
how'd you do it?
Well, I always prefer my little helper here. She pulls out a great sword.
I will say you've always had style. Did you split them in multiple pieces, or was it just too clean?
I mean, you know, I always prefer to have a little bit of artistic value in what I do.
Understandable. Leave your mark. Well, congratulations on your kills. I know that for somebody of your stature, that was self-impressive, I guess.
And what has Mr. Silk Socks been killing lately?
Mr. Silk Socks just got done with a light bounty with the help of our few friends. We are on our way to do something for some horses and some kings, but we made a stop, killed some creatures from the Fae. Nothing crazy.
So you killed some cute little dragons then?
Oh, Cassandra.
Little puffballs, little flumps. They're horrible, I know.
Oh yes, it was.
Meant to
So,
say flumps.
it was so beneath your pay grade. I get it.
Well, I'm sure you made 2-3 silver off of it.
Well, now we're pocket watching, are we?
Well, I mean, it's important to enjoy what you do and get paid for it.
Did you attempt go?
I did not.
True enough. Currently, we're just sightseeing, waiting for our ship to be ready, but we'd like to get an L later. I'd love to hear what you've been doing all around.
I think I'd enjoy that.
And I look forward to seeing you a little bit later. We're at the Broken Bed.
You would be.
I like to stay out of the light, you know this.
Don't you ever. The rest of you are being led by Kashi down to, it's not exactly where the main docks are, because that's primarily used for trade and travel. It is slightly off, but there is a smaller wooden dock that's placed there. What looks to essentially be a slightly nicer canoe. With the words, "My lover's heart," painted on it in yellow paint.
You really getting us a canoe?
Look, you said you wanted to go upriver. This thing is fast. It can carry all four of you. It's not a big deal.
How's it fast going upriver?
It's faster going on the river than, trying to get a proper boat to steer all the way through the rivers, and it can manage rapids and everything faster.
How?
Because it's smaller.
It's a canoe.
Look, if you wanted a big self-steering boat, you should have asked for that. You said you needed something fast. I got you the fastest thing I could find.
Do tell how we're gonna go upriver with that.
Well, primarily you stick these oars out the side, and you paddle.
For days.
How long? You would know that there is an aspect of the boats that manage to not negate the water, but essentially they do travel faster downstream than upstream, but they negate a lot of the difficulties that would be caused by traveling in this way.
Okay. So he's not just full of shit.
He's not completely full of shit. He's a little full of shit.
So if we waited a couple more days, could you get us anything actually worthy?
I suppose it depends on how big a boat you're wanting.
Slightly bigger than this. Not a canoe.
We'll get a few decent sailboats.
That'd be fine.
Alright, well, I guess I'll take this lovely little thing back then.
Go for it.
I'll do it later. Don't want to do it right now. We already paid for the dog.
I appreciate the attempt, but we definitely want something just a little bigger.
You see him begin to go over to a small corner where he can write notes and attach them to ravens.
I definitely owe you one for doing this, though.
You owe me more than one.
Fair.
Probably be a little bit after this that you guys would be joined by Cass and Ronan.
How long on the boat?
Honestly, since I've already got a contact now for small travel like this, maybe tonight I'd have one ready.
You got us a canoe. We're not
It's a
traveling.
very nice canoe.
We're not traveling upriver in a canoe.
At which point you guys hear chuckling from behind you as Cass throws her arm over you, Ronan. This is exactly what I expected you would be traveling in.
Oh, I hate you
We're
so
upgrading by tonight.
much.
Good for you.
Actually, yes, it is quite good for us.
Kazia,
I'm glad you see it.
Lan, Zeke, this is Cassandra.
Cass.
Nice to meet you, Cassandra.
She is another amateur hunter, if you will.
She seems lovely.
There's only one amateur here, and it's not me.
Well, it can't be me, so it surely must be you.
I'm not the one who rented the rowboat.
That was actually him.
We did.
Actually, that was Kashi.
Yeah, it's his boat.
We asked for a boat, he gave us a canoe.
That's fair.
The canoe might pose more of a challenge than you, though, Cassandra.
Well, at least it would let you inside it.
Oh. She kind of got you there, mate.
Kazi will let out a chuckle.
She definitely got you there, lad.
This is an ongoing affair, I believe.
So you've been trying after her for a long time.
Not trying after her.
Doesn't sound like much of an affair.
Failing after her?
Failing is more like it.
It's quite alright. There really wasn't much trying either.
That even broke my stoicness.
But I think for that deserves a round.
Is he saying you're a hard catch? Or are you doing no catching?
Oh. What I'm saying is there has to be someone left to bite.
We're gonna smoke dick.
That's not what that would imply.
Where's the bartender at?
Oh, you guys are down by the dock right now.
Oh, right, the dock. Okay.
Yeah, you're
Well, if
checking
you ever
out
want to
the
have a
costume
little,
prepared for you.
So let's lead on.
if you ever want to have a drink sometime.
We'll take you up on that.
Fair enough.
I'm going to do that right now.
Try your luck, my friend.
So, for sake of brevity, does anybody wish to do something besides drinking the afternoon away?
Lan is gonna look for to find some supplies for our trip.
Okay, quite it was done. There's a number of shops in town. What in particular would you be looking for?
Mostly rations and food, and then rations and food.
Okay, can be very easily obtained from pretty much any street vendor. There's, excuse me, a ton of dried fruits and meats and things that are tend to be kept for long periods of time.
Just so you know, I do already have a map.
Do you know how long we'll be on the water?
Would I know how long this
Days.
river...
You're not wrong.
Maps go.
It'll depend on the boat that we get from Kashi, but rough estimate.
Measuring stuff.
He says she can't with the accents.
Who?
Nikki.
Oh, is she watching?
Yeah.
Hi, Nikki. Be about 8.5 days to get up there by the river. And then be a little bit longer to get back since you guys are gonna have to follow the roads.
So much better than I thought.
It's a little over a week
Welcome to the river.
on boat.
That's the advantage. The
That's
boats can
not
move
bad.
faster,
That's
Been
but
about
they follow the rivers.
Would have been about a month on foot.
yeah.
We're a very long way on foot.
Yeah, that's why I said about a month on foot.
Yeah.
All right. So I'll get. Well, I have rations for 8 days, so I'll get 8 more rations.
Okay. Easily procured. Forget how much rations cost off the top of my head.
5 gold each.
Okay. That
Holy
seems.
shit.
That's not right. That's gotta be like 5 gold per 10 or something. No, that does not seem right at all.
What is a day's worth of food? But yeah, that still seems pricey.
Oh, it's
no,
5
for
silver
10
pieces.
It's 5. Yeah, it's
Okay.
It has my quantity at 10, so the total for 10
Yeah.
is 5.
Okay, it's 5 silver pieces per day's worth of rations.
Okay, so I'll.
I was gonna say, yeah, like a full meal is like.
It's 4 gold for 8 days.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do that.
That was confusing me. I'm like, there's no way it's 5 gold a day. That's like, even extravagant food.
Yeah.
As I was walking away to head back to the bar, I don't know if this holds any weight in this current time frame.
You may
but
certainly try to.
I definitely had this up the entire time I was walking away.
An equivocal gesture being made.
Thank you.
To this.
I would laugh and then head to the same store that he did to get some rations to prepare for the journey.
Yeah, easily done. It's more just a fruit vendor on the side of the road.
Gotcha.
I'll do that, but I also wanna. Is there a
I got 4 of them.
like a wanted board anywhere in the city?
Just looking for bounties, essentially.
Not of bounties, but like wanted criminals.
There is posters given to wanted criminals.
Okay. Is there anyone I recognize on the board?
Go ahead and make an investigation check for me.
How much would crossbow bolts be?
Question. It's pretty cheap, relatively. 10? Nobody that you recognize. There's a few people who don't actually have pictures, that just have descriptions. But nobody that you are sure of.
Okay. How much are rations, by the way?
It's 5 silver pieces per day.
So it looks like it's a gold per a bundle of 20.
That's, yeah.
Yep.
I'll get another bundle.
How long is this journey?
It's going to take you 8.5 days to get there, and then however long it takes you to ride the horses back.
Okay. Did you say it was a bundle of what for gold? 20?
Yeah, 20
Yeah,
crossbow bolts for a
yes.
gold.
Oh, I meant rations, sorry.
Rations are 5 silver piece a day.
Yeah. 5 silver per.
I'm gonna go drop my pack off at the.
That's still a lot.
Do we have a room?
Not currently.
I'm not dropping my pack off. I'm gonna go to the library. Is that where Vale would be?
They would be. She works in the Hall of Records in Des Moines. Actually, in Des Moines Hall.
Des Moines Hall.
Yeah, which is the.
That's where we are, isn't it? No, we're at the tower.
No. The hall is okay. So, whoops, not that one. So, the whole place is called Des Moines Hall, but there's actually a proper hall akin to a castle.
I see.
Essentially.
I'm
So
gonna get
this area up here is where the actual hall is located,
Okay, I'm gonna head there.
and that's where she would work. Okay. So you guys are actually no, everyone else went off shopping. So Lan, you head off. You travel through areas that are starting to be nicer and nicer kept. You see finer clothing, people who are definitely higher up on the social chain as you were. And you actually end up going past a couple guards who you've not necessarily that they know you personally, but they know of you. This would be you guys would have left in the morning, so still early afternoon.
Okay.
Yeah, really wanted to.
Because it took about an hour to get back to town. So
I want to go play music at a bar.
are you trying to make money?
No. Just like karaoke, kind of. Just want to play music.
Alright, totally fine. We'll get to that in a minute.
Alright.
join with my flute.
As you travel down, there is a room kind of off to the left, which as you enter, there is a series of tall bookshelves lining the walls.
Want to go play music with me?
It's not a huge room, but it's still fairly sized.
You know what?
And
Go to
you
the
see
same
that
bar you
several
were going
books
with.
are magically placing
Cassandra,
themselves
too.
From a
And-
cart that seem to automatically know where they belong, and they will magically just raise themselves and place
Play
themselves
some music,
back.
shall we?
Standing, if I can get to it.
Wait,
Standing behind the counter
do you have an instrument?
No.
is Verat.
Hi, Bea. I was
Yeah,
just
I apologize.
I was wanting to let you know that I'm heading out for about 3 weeks, roughly.
She looks to you and kind of pictures you with a stern gaze. Well, I hope that your weeks outside the city are fruitful.
Appreciate it. I was wondering if you knew much about the libraries of Lothal and Gallet?
Well, I know everything about the libraries of Lothal, which is to say they don't exist. Lothal's a land of farmers and horse people. Not anything I
Centaurs?
really spend time on. But, Gallet is somewhat more experienced. They are a family of people that are recently made far more proud and moral, if that's what you're after. But they do keep a fairly decent history.
Do you know of any, maybe have you heard of any unusual books in either locations, any rumors?
Well, between the two, Gallet would be far more likely. I can't say that I know of any especially that are known to be there. But, Lord Caden is still fairly young. If you were to, impress him, he may be willing to help you if he has any such books available. As I say, I don't know that he does. Typically such things are kept more quiet.
Yeah.
But, as I say, he's still very young and impressionable. So not somebody that couldn't be talked to.
Good. Well, I just wanted to let you know. I'll be on my way. You have
Most appreciated.
a good fortnight-ish.
Enjoy your journey.
Go ahead to the broken bed.
And you'll once again exit the hall down into the commoner parts of the city towards the broken bed. Is there anything anyone else would like to do?
We're going to be putting on a performance, because apparently he's joining me and he's joining me in playing music.
Wonderful. All you guys put on a performance check.
We're one man
What are all you guys doing? So
Yeah, that's a good
you-
point.
I have a flute.
I have a horn.
Singing
Are
with a
you
lute.
guys proficient in these items?
Yeah.
I'll be singing with a lute.
Yeah, I had to get it to. It was part of my package, my Monster Hunter package. So
No, I mean I know you have the item. It
Are
is
you
a
proficient in
proficiency.
I am
the
proficient
instrument?
with a flute.
Okay.
A skin flute.
yeah, that's a
It
whole
is
other
part
thing.
of my tool proficiency.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's just
horn, I'm
ignoring.
proficient with.
All right, everybody, go ahead and make a performance check.
Yay! Performance check.
I honestly didn't expect anybody besides Zeke to be able to play an instrument.
Okay. 29 that.
23.
Question. If I'm proficient with the item but not in the performance skill, what does that mean?
How do you feel?
Well, proficient in the item would just mean that you can use the
Yeah, I
item
would say you can just use it
effectively.
easier. I would say if you didn't have proficiency, it would have been at disadvantage, honestly.
Okay, fair enough.
Well, you can use it.
You can certainly try.
But yeah, because if you're proficient in shields, you don't get more AC. You just can use the shield.
Yeah. I mean, you could pick up a guitar and try to strum it if you don't know what you're doing. It's not going to sound good.
Yeah. So proficient is just knowledge of its use.
Would you?
11.
11? Zeke?
23.
So you guys begin to come up with a tune. It's very awkward at first. Essentially, it's composed with Ronan and Zeke providing a tune and a rhythm together. Zeke essentially starting to play, Ronan you jumping in as he does so, and you kind of... Kazuya, you come in, and the first two beats you play are directly off key.
Been a while.
You're actually off beat.
He anchormans it.
But as you do, you kind of your eyes widen and you realize what you've done and you manage to quickly pull it back, and resume playing appropriately. As you do, some people are kind of watching him bobbing along to the song. It's not a particularly famous tune or anything that's a well-known or a crowd favorite, but people are enjoying the music and just listening softly.
Yeah. We're good.
After your performance ends, Kashi comes in the bar, comes up to you. Well, I've got you your appropriate shit back.
Fantastic. Is it actually seaworthy of going up a river?
Well, it'll go up a river. I don't know if it'll go in the ocean.
That's fine. All we need is river travel.
That it can do.
Much appreciated.
So he leads you guys back down, slightly more towards the main docks. And you guys see a fairly decent sailboat there, which appears to be fully decked out with gear and travel extras, sails, ropes, things that you might need if the boat were to potentially be damaged in some way. That could at least be a slapdash repair. Painted on the side of the boat is the mermaid's hair.
Definitely a lot better than a canoe. I appreciate it.
Well, you know, I only deliver the very best.
Right.
You see him instantly start shrinking out of this conversation as fast as his dignity will allow.
Well, I'll be looking forward to hearing more of your stories when we get back.
I look forward to sharing them with you.
All right, guys. You guys already set sail. Literally.
Are we setting sail tonight, or did you want to leave tomorrow?
Well, we can always leave in the morning. Well, I'm used to sleeping on a ship, so I might just spend the night on the sailboat.
We've wasted enough time. Let's get going.
Just go ahead and go. Fair enough.
Unless you need more time with your lady friend.
You came back to the bar, right? Or
Yeah,
did we
yeah,
all-
You guys were pouring
Oh,
over.
at the
okay.
same
No,
bar.
I'm saying I thought he went and checked on the boat. That's what I was asking. Did he go check
Oh,
on
so
the
did
boat?
Kashi just lead me or lead the whole party?
Oh, I assume it would have been the whole party.
Oh, okay. No. Let's go. As I look at my sundial.
I was gonna
Ye ancient sundial. Hang on.
It's a
no,
freckle past a hair.
Well, it's either 3 o'clock or 10 o'clock. I don't.
How long did you guys perform?
Probably only a song or two.
Yeah, not long.
Yeah.
They're exhausted.
Especially with a certain one of us not truly keeping up.
Sorry.
I guess it's not quite as bad, but there's definitely a member of the band that's being carried a little bit.
What's every band ever?
It's the Joey Fatone of the group.
You're not gonna disrespect Kazi like that.
I'm sorry. Sorry, guys. That was untoward.
No, it's good.
If anything, he could have been.
Kazio, remember that.
He could have easily been Chris Kirkpatrick.
Look.
I'll be honest, Joey Fatone is the only name I know besides Justin Timberlake.
Justin. Lance.
Look, it's been a while. I haven't played the flute in a
Are
long
you
time.
proficient in the flute just so you can play the sad Naruto song?
I didn't even think about it that way, but you know what? It fits.
It does, strangely.
That's beautiful.
No, it's for
horrible.
our intro to metal music.
Okay.
That's what I'm for. I'm the bard.
Oh, that's fair.
We could all just jump on
Naruto
that.
battle music is with the flute, though.
You guys gotta help me. I remember
I need you to
bardic
learn the
inspiration.
drums.
I could have given
So
him
you get
bardic
the-
inspiration. I fucking forgot. I gotta remember bard stuff. I could have given him
Jimmy
bardic
glasses.
inspiration.
Shit.
So you guys are hopping on the boat.
Let us set
Sounds
sail
like it.
then.
If nobody's got any objections, you ready to go, pal?
Who's doing what on this?
Yep.
About what I was about to ask.
Who's doing
Well, it's
everything?
just a sailboat, so
There's not as many components to it as a large scale boat, but there is still a need for navigation.
I guess
and
I would
actual
be
control.
quote unquote captaining and just shouting out simple tasks for them to help me with while I sail.
Navigation is based on what?
Dex.
Probably wisdom.
Navigation, I think, is intelligence, actually.
What do you think? Would that be wisdom or intelligence?
Because we did it as Dex in the last
It's either- it's
campaign.
either way.
Or in the first campaign, we did it as Dex.
Yeah. Well, we did a lot of stuff during first campaign.
Nikki says volume, but no video.
What?
She said there's volume, but no video.
Not sure why that would be. Check Twitch. Oh, we had a network error.
Refresh the stream.
Okay, yeah, refresh. Not sure why that would have happened. That was very weird.
It happens with Twitch every now and then.
Yeah, Twitch is a piece of shit. What?
Kappa.
Can we edit that out?
No.
Can we edit that out?
No, it's fine. He said
We're not
Kappa.
being watched by anybody that matters.
He said Kappa after it. It's okay.
Yeah.
Cap.
Everything's okay as long as you say Kappa after it.
It's like not gay. No.
Yeah, she said we're good.
Okay, so who's doing what?
It's up to you guys. Oh, anyway.
Is
Yeah,
there a
did we
crow's
want to
nest?
decide that on intelligence? Or
It's a
That's
sailboat.
where I'm gonna be.
That
I
that
would
didn't
say-
answer my question.
It's a sailboat. No.
All right.
Probably intelligence.
Okay, so we're going to base that off intelligence for navigation.
Based off of intelligence?
I'll navigate.
There we go. Navigator man.
As the only person that actually knows how water boats work, you will probably be steering.
Yeah.
Water boats, as opposed to all those land boats.
I am
They're called sleds.
uncomfortable.
They're called sleds. I mean, those kind of are land boats.
Yeah, exactly.
Ronan is uncomfortable on the boat.
Are you
Toughen
the one
up,
that
will
can
ya?
fly this?
At
this
least none of
section?
us are made of stone. That's a good thing.
And weigh 400 pounds.
Well, we all breathe.
400 pounds.
We all breathe.
It's the problem.
It's
now.
weird how you have to specify that after a few campaigns.
I have to
Toughen up, will ya?
sleep and I have to eat
You're
and I have to
monsters.
breathe now.
You go for
Man,
a
so
walk.
many things you've never had to do before.
This sucks.
Being human is a chore.
You're
We
right.
don't see at night anymore.
Sure you are.
No. From now on, I'm just gonna be animatronic every campaign.
Don't worry, nothing bad's gonna happen. No, you're not. We'll be fine.
Not worried about that. Just not a fan of water and boats.
He can't swim.
Are you proficient in navigator's tools?
Nope.
No. Okay.
But thankfully, we're just going upriver.
So it's not gonna require a whole lot of navigating.
There is splits in the river though that lead off to different creeks and stuff, but
Okay.
It's a matter of them being big enough for you guys to actually
confuse
sail
you
down.
or not. Yeah.
So after about a day's worth, probably.
I'm sure we'll be fine.
Okay.
Not too worried about it.
That's okay. Yeah, I got you.
So, all right, I need our navigator to go ahead and make a general intelligence check for me. And I need our captain to go ahead and, I would call this dexterity, I guess.
13.
If he's barking orders, it would be charisma, I think.
I think one instance of actually physically steering.
But I'm still
Well, you
coming
can't
like
really
But I'm still commanding them to help me sail
Make
the
both.
boat.
Make both.
Both? Okay.
But did you add your proficiency to the dexterity? Because you are. Well, no, that just. No, never mind.
Roll.
Ignore me. Go ahead.
Was that English?
What were you saying?
No,
What was
it's
your-
actually
Dwarvish.
So a dex roll and a charisma roll. Okay.
You just blinking a lot?
Something that kobold pops up on the
So
ship.
dex is 19,
Dex 19. Okay.
and charisma is also 19.
All right.
I rolled a 16 and a 14. It's double 19s.
What was your intelligence check?
13.
13. All right.
Not bad.
So you guys managed to make fairly good progress up the river. The wind carrying you forward. And for you two, it's actually very disconcerting. Neither of you having really traveled a whole lot by boat before. You aren't really used to the changing aspect of the wind. And there's an essence where the sail is being used to help propel you guys forward. Which is something that neither of you were really expecting or prepared for. But as such, you guys make fairly decent progress up the river. There's a magical component to the sail navigating and helping push you guys up.
Any chance I get, I'm gonna have like my hand close to the water and enjoying the wind and sailing again.
Definitely feels more like home to you than being on land.
Yeah.
So I am going to using my telepathy to try to find any interesting beast or aberrations or anything in the water on the way there.
Okay.
It doesn't say I have to see, but it's within 120 feet.
Okay. Make a concentration check for me.
the school son bitch.
Natural 20.
You find Cthulhu.
Oh my god.
I can confirm that is a natural 20.
All right.
I watched it roll.
It'll run out sometime.
It will, and I'm going to die.
You spontaneously
Come
have a
back
heart
then,
attack.
It's making me nervous the more 20s I roll.
Because eventually he's got to come back around.
What is
Yep.
gonna happen?
Because his luck.
Here, have some of my ones.
No.
I don't know if you want.
Maybe he's the balancing factor.
Yeah, as long as I'm sitting across
Whichever
from
number
Art,
you
he
have
will
on
just
top
roll
of
for
it,
me.
yeah.
Okay with this. I said you roll on ones.
Yeah, that, thanks.
Also, I like how you've rolled a whole bunch of ones on your table.
Yeah, I know. It was more of the fact that it rolls one way and doesn't roll all the way back the other way.
Gotcha.
Look at this.
Probably add one more. At least.
That is another one, by the way. But it went 1, 2, 19, 18.
Oh, that's pretty good split.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Wow.
You know, I think that's
3
probably
15s
fitting.
and a 14.
That's probably fitting.
That's not bad.
It's just when I'm jumping off buildings.
For contact,
that
I mean.
He'd not want to eat shit.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
Cool, monk shit.
Stop that monk shit.
As you reach out,
Can't wait for slow fall.
you do feel a presence brush against your mind. It is not intelligent, as there are no words, but there's a feeling of welcoming. And suddenly you guys witness an enormous tentacle pop up out of the water and almost wave to you, before slowly slides back down.
The hell was that?
And that is what I'm talking
That
about.
was a friend.
That was a what type of friend?
Do I know what
Probably, actually, you know.
If it's a friend, I'm not going to question it. I'm just going to keep sailing. I've seen worse.
would I know if it's a the class, an aberration, beast, elemental,
Yeah.
or monstrosity?
I've seen worse.
It's beast.
You'd know that it was
In
a
a
beast,
river.
not an aberration or anything.
It
I'm
was
with
just
you.
a-
I don't like these boats.
It was just a friendly beastie. Good.
The beast you can see, that's worth killing. That does not scare me. It's water not being able to see what's really down there. What did that tentacle belong to?
I suspect an octopus.
So funny that you asked that, because just seeing what it is.
Pulls out his notepad. Octopus tentacles.
You know what? Both of you go ahead and make a nature check for me. See if you know anything about this creature.
Wow. What is happening with your rolls?
22.
Natural one.
These two.
Balance. No, that's not for the battle. That's for.
It's scary that you're using them for balance.
I'm rolling at different dice each time.
Maybe just as you go back around, they'll all roll ones.
Yeah.
What'd you get?
22.
Yeah.
Fuck, man.
He rolled a
I
19.
rolled a 19.
You
Ronan?
don't use 1
Nat 1.
total.
Oops.
I'm just gonna be enjoying the wind and the sailing and.
While the whispers are happening, the rest of you make a perception check.
Okay. My whole objective is gonna be enjoying this as much as possible, making little tweaks even though I don't have to. And
8.
Knocked.
what'd you call me?
Especially for the acquisition.
Single shit. Perception?
Yes.
How am I doing?
14.
9.
So only Kazuya, you see in the water some red tinted eyes that are sort of just gliding along the top of the water. And then you look over the other side of the boat, there's another set of eyes doing the same thing, and then they both sink under the water.
Captain,
What is it?
do you know water... Actually, I should be asking you this. Do you know water creatures that have red tinted eyes?
The second you say that, I'm going to put
They
my
were on
hand
either side
on the
of us.
hilt of the blade.
The moment you say that, I shit my pants. What I know,
When those who are proficient may make nature checks.
I'm not proficient.
I'm not proficient either.
He asked me.
I am proficient.
No.
He did ask.
I was only wondering because I've been on the water for so long.
God damn it. Stop rolling that dice. Put
That
that away.
dice is over with.
Put it away.
8.
You do not know.
That dice is done. Where's your one, two? You go.
So I wouldn't roll even though he asked me directly.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay.
If you say nat 20, I'm going to throw this dice across the table.
13.
Okay.
You are not sure. You've heard of any number of different things in the water that might have red eyes.
Nope.
Great. Well,
Could be a kraken, could not be, you don't know.
we should be careful then. I don't like that.
We're on a boat.
I don't like that he put that up there.
I'm on a boat.
Uh,
Move fast, man.
That's better. Yeah, I like that. Yes.
Supposed to
No, that means we're something missing.
You said you guys are kind of quiet on your side.
Our boat just.
Don't worry about it.
Really?
And you're just
Just turn the
quiet
mic
in
on.
general.
It looks
This is
great.
true.
Yeah.
So
I'm
That would
not
be
a
the
very
smarter
outspoken
thing to do.
person.
It's all good.
Just mic closer to face.
We can turn it up, actually.
Yeah, I'll just turn the mic. So who's quiet?
You and Sherlock are, and then Mark should just quiet himself.
Yeah.
He's just a quiet person in
He's a
general.
quiet person.
I will try to speak louder.
As he speaks quieter.
Right? That's
Louder.
loud. Duh.
See, it's easy to do the British accent softer than it
Yeah.
is to do it louder.
That's why I always try to do the quieter voice in my Irish, because it's a lot easier to do accents when you're talking softly.
Makes sense.
It is.
Correct.
Being loud about it's not my thing.
All of you make one more perception check.
You're a perception check.
Thank you. I mean,
You're
not as far as I'm
welcome.
aware of.
Fucking hell.
Perception check.
9. I got a 2.
18.
I'm rolling shit tonight.
Natural 20.
What the fuck?
Okay.
What'd you roll?
3.
I'm supposed to be good at
So
this.
Ronan and Zeke, I believe.
Yeah, I rolled an
literally
18.
have
Yep.
22 passive.
You both hear knocks against the outside of the boat.
Oh,
They get louder and louder until they actually start to move the boat, rock it a little bit.
From which side? Both sides?
Both sides, yep.
This
Evasive maneuvers. We like try
We
to.
are in a. How are we going to do that? We're in a river.
It's still a wide ass river. I mean, full sailing boats can actually go up this river,
I am,
like full vessels. So
Okay.
I'm grabbing the edge of the boat,
Maybe we should have gotten a bigger boat.
and this is what I'm talking about. Being uncomfortable.
we got whatever Kasha gave us. That's all we get to work with.
So
Serpentine.
I guess I would be.
As soon as you say that, serpentine, and you see land serpentining on the front of the boat, you see a huge mouth just come up and take a big chunk out of the side of the boat.
Great.
And that's going to be go ahead and roll initiative.
Yep.
That's better. That's better.
So, 2.
Your walls are coming back for vengeance.
One's different.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm rolling
Oh,
2.
buddy.
Right now.
Okay.
This is so awesome.
Yeah, Mr. +9 initiative got low.
17.
17.
Since
And I have
it's
plus
+3.
3.
I rolled a 5.
Okay.
I rolled a 14.
And then what was the other one?
What'd you get, lad?
4.
Last one 4.
I get so
4 total.
You stole his rolls.
Yeah, yeah.
You guys swapped.
Alright.
Is that my rolls wrong?
You
Land.
stole your mojo.
Ronan.
It's 14.
That's you.
Kashi. Kazuya.
All of us were just like, eh.
Kashi pops up from below deck.
Aha!
You said it was me the whole time. 17. Kashi pops up out of the center of the boat with a whole bunch of wood in his mouth. I have bitten your boat.
I am your boat.
Oh, I didn't know they were all.
Mikey, behind you there should be a bag full of styrofoam squares.
I am not a styrofoam square.
I moved them a minute. Okay. 2 large and a huge.
Yep.
Really now.
Okay, go ahead and place those around the boat, please.
Yes.
Fair enough. I'll try to keep that in mind.
On or just around?
Around.
Well, that was a huge one. Oh no.
Alright.
Oh no, oh no, oh no.
Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no.
Wow, wow, wow.
So this one closer to me is just taking its turn to absolutely just demolish the front of that boat. It is just taking bite after bite into the front of the boat to try and sink it.
Did it nat 20? Let's roll also.
Nat 20? Yes.
Damn.
Yep.
Fuck.
So that will be its turn. Kazuya, you are next.
What's its,
Wonderful.
What's its what?
what's the damage?
Oh, 1d10 plus 2.
Okay. I'm just gonna jump my ass over to the
I don't know what you said.
Side of
Boat,
the boat.
I'm saying.
Okay.
How damaged does the boat look now?
I'll tell you in just a moment.
There's a definite hole in it already because of the 2 bites that it already took out of it, but
Okay. Sorry, I'm finding my boat's page.
I will draw my sword after I run over to it, and I will use the effect of it, the lightning, and then I'll just stab it.
okay.
Hopefully.
You're using your
Uh-huh.
okay.
Do a katana running attack. Poke.
Okay, that is a...
Are you attacking the one that's putting the holes in the
Yes.
boat? Okay.
That is a 22 to hit.
Yeah, that is.
Okay. And I need you.
For the entire thing.
Now, do I take the same amount of lightning damage or roll separately?
Roll separately.
Okay. So this is what it's going to do to it. Wish I would have taken that one. That's
Oh.
So it's 8 points of... What the hell is damage is that? Slashing. And 1 point of lightning.
Okay.
And then I take 3 points of lightning. Okay.
Chaos Blade.
Okay.
Yeah.
I respect that.
I tried. All I do is hurt myself.
Why?
You've taken way more damage than any one of us.
Thank you. Yep. I don't have a help.
Is that on your turn?
Yeah, I think that's all I can do.
Okay. The bigger creature, which you would have seen since you just hit it, it is a croc.
Oh. Okay,
A
cool.
very, very big croc. Probably like 16 foot.
Oh. That's not good. Did the lightning look like it did any extra to it? Or did it?
No.
Okay, cool. I won't be doing that anymore.
The even bigger croc on the middle side of the boat is going to make 2 more attacks against the boat.
Oh.
It wants whatever goodies is on the boat.
I forgot I could do that. Okay, now I remember. I can technically
Want me to roll
I can
you?
punch it.
Go ahead.
That's a bonus. I forgot. 'Cause I'm
That's
technically
it.
using a
That'll
monk
hit.
weapon.
Makes 2 attacks.
Oh.
That
Probably not.
probably won't.
Well, it's a dex based, so it
plus 4 to
would
that,
that technically
so no,
be
it
a
does
monk
not.
weapon? Okay.
No.
So the first attack, it just sinks its teeth into the boat and tears another chunk out of it.
Okay.
Then
no, I couldn't do
its
that.
second attack, it bites in, however, it just scrapes against the wood, doesn't fully manage to get a chunk of it off.
Who's closest to it? Who are those two in the middle of the boat?
I'm in the dead center. He's
Okay.
closest.
You guys would both see that the middle one that just took the chunk out of the boat, not the one in front, is a 2-headed croc.
Lovely.
That'll bring us to Zeke.
How long after is that nearby?
Not that nearby.
You saw it probably about 5 or 10 minutes ago.
It's only a range of
going up
120
the
feet.
river.
So I'm going to look back at that 2-headed croc and just be like, "You don't know what you want to do," in Sylvan, and use ID insinuation on it.
Okay.
What does it say for that?
15 wisdom,
There you go.
and I speak that in Sylvan.
Probably not. A 14. So no, it fails.
Okay, it is immobile.
Okay.
That was a natural 14.
Does it do damage?
Not until the end of its turn.
Okay. So it's just incapacitated.
Yes.
Okay.
So, yep, it is incapacitated until the end of its next turn, which it takes a D12 and then makes another wisdom save.
Okay.
And it is concentration.
Yes.
I don't know where my rings went.
And then I'm going to turn back to Ronan and go,
Don't know.
"Give him hell," and you get Bardic Inspiration.
Hey, first Bardic Inspiration.
D4?
D6.
D6, yep.
Alright.
Where did you put your stuff?
I normally
So
keep
either
here.
one ability check, attack roll, or saving throw, you get a D6.
What did you lose? My
His
my
tackle
condition
box
rings.
of condition rings.
You had them. They were on the chair.
Yeah, I just saw them. Like,
They're right there.
They're right
They're right
there.
there.
Yeah.
oh, they're under the. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, no. I should have looked at him and went, "What do you desire?"
Oh, God.
Okay, Lucifer. Such a good show.
Yeah, great show.
It really is.
I still haven't finished the last season.
There's not an incapacitated ring anywhere.
Was it?
No, there isn't one.
Just use poison
Yeah,
or
I'll just,
something.
I'll just use it for own. That's paralyzed. There we
Oh, for the croc.
go. I was looking at all the conditions. There's all of them except
is that the big
incapacitated.
one?
Yes.
Big
Yeah,
one.
the 2-headed.
All right.
Okay, Ronan, you're up next.
This one
Yeah.
hasn't made its way over to the ship, right?
It's bumped up against it before. It's not there right now.
Not there right now. And only that one is.
Yeah.
Does it seem
Well,
like we're like
this one's chewing on it, and that one's chewing on it.
Does it seem like we are like starting to take a little bit of a dip? Like
You're not
water-
dipping. You're taking on water.
Okay.
Not a lot of water, but
I'm going 5, 10, 15, 25. Nope. I'm gonna go. Is this one at the ship?
Mm-hmm.
yes.
I'm going to go over to this one. 10, 20, 25. This is the very shit.
Yeah.
I can't. Okay.
So this is taking up
3
all
spaces.
3 spaces.
Okay. Okay. That makes
Yeah, my
you
grid's
can-
too big, which is weird because I measured it.
As
Sure.
you go to the edge of the boat, you would see from his spell that he just sent off that the 2-headed croc, one head seems to be seizing up while the other is trying to attack the boat still, but it's in conflict because of his spell.
Jerry. What the fuck, Jerry?
Is it in range enough for me to hit it with my longsword?
Yes.
Then I'm going to stab it with my longsword.
All right, go ahead and make your
Yeah,
attack.
no.
I remove it from the sheath.
Is that advantage because it's incapacitated?
Yes.
Let me look.
I believe so because incapacitated is.
No, it just can't take action.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think
Nope.
it's.
Okay, it just can't take
Creature
actions or
movement is on the
reactions.
crawl, they're biting.
Gotcha. Okay.
Disadvantage on
Yeah,
attack
no, they
rolls.
just can't do anything.
Attack rolls against
so-
the creature have advantage if the attacker is within 5 feet of the creature.
Incapacitated.
Oh, really? For incapacitated?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. It's showing me prone. Stupid fucking.
Yeah, no,
I
incapacitated
apologize.
creatures can't take actions or
Okay.
reactions.
I apologize. It was showing me the condition for prone.
15 to hit.
You're hitting the big one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that hits.
Okay.
And don't forget about your bardic inspiration.
Hold on to that for a second. That for 10 minutes, right?
A minute.
Oh, a minute.
Oh yeah, for 10 minutes. You're right.
I thought it was 1 minute.
Nope, last 10 minutes.
It is 10 minutes.
It's guidance. That's 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. Bard.
No, guidance is only 6 seconds.
Yeah, guidance.
What the hell is one I'm thinking of?
Takes
Less.
Yes. Less is a
It
minute.
takes 5 points of slashing damage.
Okay.
Did you roll a 1 on damage?
You guys in the ones.
God damn.
These new dice, they haven't been broken in properly. I'm trying to, but
Gotta go with the whips
You
and
rolled
chains.
like 3 nat 20s.
yeah, I'm not worried about that. The D20s I never worry about. It's the lower dice.
Okay.
mine are all up on high numbers currently.
Next is this crocodile on this end towards Ronan over there. He's going to actually try and crawl onto the boat.
So he's gonna try to
big
crawl
one?
up here.
Oh,
No,
that
this
one.
the-
That one.
Yeah.
Oh,
The big one's still
Yeah.
past it.
Got it.
He has
That's pretty
He can still move.
he has 20 feet of movement.
Yeah, he can get on the
but
boat.
he can easily get on the boat.
Okay.
I saw the incapacitated one can move.
Yeah, just can't take actions or reactions.
And it is going to ready an action.
Okay.
And next is Lan.
I'm gonna. Can I do a free action and speak to one of them? Telepathy?
Yeah.
Okay. To the one on the back. You will find easier meals than this. You should leave.
Go ahead, make a persuasion
Yeah, I
check.
was going to say, make a persuasion check.
25.
You actually hear the one in the back with its ready to action that you just talked to sort of look towards the other ones over the boat, and you hear a. You're not sure what it means, but.
Okay.
Well, what languages do you speak actually?
Abyssal, Common, Deep Speech, Draconic, Dwarfish, Elvish, Gnomish, Halfling, and Primordial.
What is that What is that feature actually called?
Let me see.
Scion of the Deep.
You can telepathically communicate with any.
No, I just wonder what it was called.
Scion of the Deep.
Yep.
Thank you.
The creature can understand you and respond telepathically.
Oh, it can.
It does not matter what language you speak or it speaks.
Fuck off, mate. Yes, I gave her an Australian accent because it's correct now.
Well,
That's racist.
Can you? Is it just you and it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like
Telepathically,
it's like the old one.
Great old one.
Yeah, the great old one. No, that even requires language, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you would know that it's speaking to the other ones then.
Okay. Okay.
You don't know if it took your advice or not, but
Okay. Then I'm going to Eldritch Blast. This one.
the biggie.
The one in front of
Kazuya?
Kazuya.
Oh, the smaller one.
Kazuya.
Okay. Oof.
Does a 9 hit?
Soon, literally.
no, it does not.
Okay. Then tentacles smack that one.
Okay.
Where'd my tentacle go?
It's in your butt.
So you tried to Eldritch Blast it. You send the same purple streak of Eldritch Blast forward, but
That one?
Now you see the tentacle.
The
thing?
tentacle right next to you. Yeah, the
It's
maggot.
not
Yeah.
tentacle, it's actually just a
Mollusk.
The tentacle.
but as that one is tearing into the boat, it sort of looks up and sees you as you're about to let it loose, and it sort of just dodges to the side and it hits the water and makes a huge splash, but no
Then
connect.
I'm going to tentacle smack.
Tentacle. That's better.
There we go. 23.
That'll hit.
That'll do, donkey. That'll do.
That'll do.
2 lightning damage.
And you're hitting the same one Kazuya hit?
Yes.
Okay.
Whack.
And that's minus 10 speed.
Whack.
Yeah, and it's movement speed is reduced by 10.
Good
Gotcha.
to know.
That hurts a lot.
Whack.
Okay. It is the crocodile you just hit's turn.
Ow.
Is the tentacle just coming out of the side of the ship?
That one is going to dive underwater.
Is that opportunity attacks from two of you?
I don't know if my tentacle gets opportunity.
The tentacle does not.
Don't believe it
Kazuya
does. Kazuya would, and you would if you're in melee.
Oh, mine wasn't their campaign.
Huh?
I said mine wasn't their campaign.
Oh no, summon stuff doesn't get.
Yeah, typically
opportunity.
some of the stuff acts
Like,
as you have to control
unless
it.
gets its own,
Gotcha.
Yeah, unless
initiative.
yeah.
Yeah.
mhm.
Like, yeah, summon creatures
Well, I'm
will.
gonna stop
So
doing
like
that.
spiritual
I didn't
weapon
know
and
that.
all that
Yeah,
stuff
that
doesn't
is-
get opportunity attacks.
Yeah, if it's something you have to
Gotcha.
actively
Okay,
control
okay,
on your
okay,
turn.
okay.
Has to have its
Yeah.
own
Okay.
action economy.
Okay. Yeah, I'll take a swing. Fuck it.
Well, make an insight check for me.
Yeah, that's. I was curious if is it leaving?
That dice went all over the place.
That is a 27. Oh, no, that's a 22. Sorry.
27 is a really
Yes,
high roll right now.
you get the sense that it is fleeing. It doesn't want
Okay.
any more part of this.
Great. Then I will not do that, and I will let it go.
Let it go. Let
Don't take it.
go.
Don't twitch. You can't do that.
Oh, right.
That's the whole reason I shut that down. Otherwise, I would have let you go.
Let it go.
It thought you
Let
guys were
it
an easy
go.
meal, and
Let it
not
go.
so much anymore.
It is learned you guys are not easy
Yeah,
munchables.
that croc was just like,
Wait. What's that over there?
look, a distraction.
Yomi a soda.
Oh,
I keep in mind if I owe you ones, by the way. I do have them. They're in my car. I just don't have them.
I don't remember if I rolled ones or not.
I have not.
I also don't.
I have
Yeah,
rolled
only
2.
Mikey.
I have
Mikey's
rolled
rolled 2.
I
You rolled 1, and one of you rolled 1.
Gotta pay that rent, boys.
On damage.
No, yeah, I mean, one of you rolled not 1 on 20. I think it was Mark.
This is better. than
Oh,
poker.
no, I did.
You did? Okay.
Ah.
Okay, so you're not doing anything
Nope.
with your.
I need just need one that you did.
Okay, because I know I rolled only one.
So yeah, 2, 1, 1.
Fuck this shit, I'm
Well,
out.
yeah.
The two-headed one seems to have not taken the advice and is going to keep tearing into the boat.
Does not have any action.
Yeah, it's
Oh, can't take any
incapacitated.
actions.
Oh yes. You're
So it takes a D12 and then rolls its wisdom save again.
correct. Okay.
So I have to make it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, so go ahead and roll the d12.
The one head's just like Gerald. Come
5.
on.
So it takes 5 psychic damage and it makes another wisdom save.
Get with the program, Jerry. I'm hungry, Jerry.
Okay, then it's still incapacitated.
Okay.
Stop tearing into my boat.
So you just see it start to lift its head up and
The other head is still like trying to just destroy the boat while the other is just nodding off to the
Stop
side.
it.
Yep.
Jerry, I'm telling Mom. They're not cooperating.
Right, Zeke.
It's your turn.
Well, seeing the other one flee, I'm going to run up to the holes that it made in the boat and start patching them.
With what?
Is there
there's one on the
extras?
boat.
Yeah, he said there was supplies
specified
for
that there were
makeshift
patches
repairs.
Okay. Make a.
Which, even if it just takes me 6 seconds to just grab something and start heading over there, that's fine. I just want to start going towards repairing the boat.
Yeah, I would say it would take longer than 6
Yeah.
seconds to patch the boat. Yeah. So is that your turn?
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm going to bonus action. No, that's it. That's it.
Ronan.
I'm going to stab the two-headed beastie again with my long sword.
I wish there was ways to put like status effects on the encounter builder so I could remember that.
That's
Yeah.
one of the things.
Yeah,
They
I
did
think
that
that's
if
one of
you're
the things they're
listening.
probably going to add. I
Really?
hope. I hope they're gonna add
I'd be
that.
surprised if they didn't.
23 to hit.
Yeah. Or
20
like
hit?
a
Definitely is.
like a
Yeah, it's
like
still in
whole
alpha
person
right now.
tracker or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
That is
A debuff
11
tracker.
points of slash
Yeah.
or piercing damage. No, slash
Very
damage.
nice.
How much?
11 points slash.
Good
There's
shit.
some damage.
Yeah, that was a hell. That was a
How
hell
would
of a
you like to
hit.
kill the two-headed one?
Oh, woohoo!
Fuck
So
yeah.
after the first stab didn't do too much, I'm going to lift my sword up higher and then come down even harder through its skull.
So the head that's still trying to bite the boat.
Okay. You see as Ronan makes his way over there and holds up his sword and just plunges it into the head of the still biting one. It goes through the skull and you can see that it's still trying to bite a little bit, but it just it's muscle memory at this point. It's not conscious. Or, yeah.
Conscious.
Conscious, yeah, there you go.
Isn't a bag of these over there?
And between it falling unconscious and the other head being incapacitated, you see it just slowly drift into the water. You see some bubbles come up, and then a red tinge starts to fill the water.
I am going to then use my movement.
I'm gonna help you patch the fucking boat.
Did I hear
Alright.
No.
Make a perception check.
I'm going to use my bardic inspiration. You said a D6.
Yes.
Woo! 23.
Damn.
Yes, you would. You make
everything.
the assumption that one of them made their way on the boat.
Also, just so you know, bardic inspiration can be used after you see the roll, but before you hear the result.
Yeah, I know it's like a little dangerous like that.
Fair enough. I'm not going to scratch it for it. I'm just
So
saying.
then I'm going to leave the edge of the ship, and I'm going to come right here and get ready for if it decides to come down, or wait for my companions.
Companions are keeping us from sinking.
Okay.
Yep.
That leads us to that crocodile, which it is going to back up to the corner of the boat, seeing everyone sort of be done with its companions, and it doesn't really have any help anymore, and it's going to just jump over the side of the fucking boat.
Fuck that shit, I'm out.
Aw. Almost had it. Poor croc.
You see the red eyes in the water just drift down into the river again.
So, as the crocodiles flee the boat, those that can flee the boat, you guys, for sake of brevity, manage to finish. They're not wonderful repairs, but they are functional repairs to the boat, so that it is able to continue sailing properly.
Well, that was a nasty bit of business. Good hit.
At least we scared them off. That could have been a little worse, I think, but...
I say we made off pretty good compared to what could have been.
Are we all understanding why I don't like the water? Are we good there, or
I'm completely fine with it.
should
That was kind of fun.
Or do we want to go back and get our other two-headed friend and see how he feels? Not that he didn't say much, because he's either numb or he's dead on the
They
other
didn't
half.
say much when I spoke to them, so...
So,
That was kind of exciting. It's good being back in the water. Let's get to sailing, shall we? I'm just gonna go back
What
to.
time is it?
It's probably hitting evening at this point.
I'm gonna be getting back to getting the boat sailing. Normally,
are there? Do we know if there's an upcoming village or anything like that that we could possibly dock at and maybe take a long rest,
I do have a map on me.
or sleep for the night?
Yeah, I mean,
You guys would be getting about here-ish. So, I mean, if you were to keep pressing it, it would take you a while, but you might get up to Hull.
you guys know that you probably wouldn't be able to go the entire way without getting someone to properly fix the boat.
Yeah.
No, you'll definitely have to stop at some point, but you could go another day or so without issue.
It still vaguely leaks here and there, you know, and
Right.
if unattended, then it's going to be a problem.
Yeah,
but-
you need to get some pitch and properly get the boat in good shape again, but
I feel like we're
it
pailing
is, it is
water.
functional for a
Yeah.
while.
Occasionally bailing, yeah.
Essentially, you have a donut on the car right now. It will go, but you shouldn't leave it.
Tell that to Missouri drivers.
So I'd say we can either.
Tell it to me sleeping in a fucking car when it's freezing outside.
Yeah, we're not gonna get
Look, come on.
I was gonna say you're gonna make us all argue with you again. You keep bringing it up, we're all gonna argue against you.
I'm pretty sure everyone here offered you a place
Yep.
to sleep.
I also offered to help you change your tires.
Okay, in all fairness, when you offered me that, I thought I had a jack.
True.
That being said, I think that is where we'll go ahead and call it for the day.
Alright, cool.
So, you guys will continue sailing on. And in addition,
Level 1.
you guys all hit level 2.
Level 2.
Level 2.
Shit, shit.
To the last fight. To the last fight.
I get Eldritch Invocation.
Yes, you do.
Eldritch Blast.
Eldritch Blast.
Thank you guys so much for playing with us. Thank you guys so much for watching. And we will see you guys next week.
Next week.
Oh, fuck, he's got the streaming controls.
I'm just continually waiting.
Just continue. Smile and wave, boys. Smile and wave.